Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay, but we are here. Welcome to NLC Division 2 upper bracket semi-finals. We have Lundqvist Lightside playing against Munster Rugby Gaming tonight. I am Basik and I'm joined here by my colorcaster EK.
Hey man, it is great to finally get the cast with you. I have seen your name pop up everywhere, so I've been like, I want to see what it's like to cast with this guy. I'm happy we can finally, get a couple games tonight. And let's just hope this goes to 5 games. Because yesterday, unfortunately, we had a 3-game series, and we all like to see a series that just goes to 4 or 5 games.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gents, I'm the one running the production today, so just want to let everyone know that maybe it will not look amazing, maybe not as pretty as it should. You will see what I mean in a few seconds with the draft. It will just be literally the client on the screen. You won't see our faces, but it's fine. You will see the champions picked, and that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, we are here just to provide you guys with efficiency. Like when other people are doing production, you have these fancy things on the screen and transition screens. Here we're just back to basics, quite literally.
Yeah, obviously living up to my name a bit here, not going for anything fancy, just the basic stuff here.
So yeah, today's match, something I think we do want to talk about before we head into draft, and actually we go into draft here, is that the winner of today's series is going to be heading into the next round, playing against Venom Crest. And the Venom Crest is 21-0 right now. They look completely unstoppable, and either of these teams is going to have to really show up today to give me any confidence that they're going to be able to, even take a game of Venom Crest right now. So I really want to see one of these teams really just step up and really just dominate some of these games.
Yeah, the Venom Crest definitely still the team to beat. Like you said, they're still undefeated. But I mean, teams have proven themselves very strong and then fallen short when they come to the finish line. Obviously, it's far from over. And Munster Rugby Gaming, one of the teams playing here today, can still make NLC 1 promotions and snag that spot from, both Lightside and Venom Crest actually.
Yeah, definitely. And then looking at picks and bans here, we do have very standard champions right now. The rel priority, of course, shoots up massively when the other supports are taking the board, like the Rakan being out right now. Now the Maokai priority is rising. Pick and ban is very stock standard so far. My eyes are kind of looking towards the Kai'Sa right now that has not been picked yet. And then, of course, we also have the Jace that is locked in immediately alongside the AP jungler in the Maokai. I want to see if now Kai'Sa is taken by the side of Munster Rugby, or if they have something else like a Zaya in mind, maybe.
Yeah, one thing I think is quite interesting here is that Lightside were the ones banning away Poppy here. And Poppy is usually something you pick into rel. So when MRG see that Poppy is banned, obviously they B1 rel here.
Yeah, it's so much better when there isn't someone who just presses W and blocks your entire engage. It really makes your life a lot more fun. Now, Cassante is, of course, a really strong blind pick in the top lane. There aren't really any bad matchups, especially when the Rumble is now out. And there's an Ash Hover. That's a pick I haven't seen that much.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun champion. And I think Jinx is on the same page here. But maybe, yeah, Kai'Sa a bit more probable pick here.
Yeah, I just think you don't want to give over Kai'Sa with the Jace and the Maokai, because Maokai presses his ultimate, someone gets snared, and you just layer the Jace poke with the Kai'Sa poke, and someone just kind of, is either dead or out of the fight for quite a while. And there's a Kalista. Now, that's someone saying, guys, we are smashing bot lane.
Yeah, now that's an interesting pick here. This should be a really aggressive bot lane coming out from Lightside, and we can now definitely expect Emp will be playing towards the bot side, which also means that there's probably no way Jace goes top lane this game. It should be Jace mid, because he will never be okay to play weak side Jace in this game.
Yeah, it is a bit of a Western classic to have, top lane Jace be your weak side. It's why we're not a very strong region when it comes to Jace picks generally. But yeah, I agree with you. I think you do want to have the Jace in mid lane here and then have a very chill top lane who can just kind of match it. You slap in a Renekton, you slap in an Ornn, you slap in someone who can just kind of be fine on their own. Now, looking at the bans here, 2 more supports taken off the board here. This does mean that Lundqvist is thinking that the Rel is most likely going to be a pick for Nord in the jungle. as opposed to being support champion, which I'm not 100% sure about. I don't know what exactly Monster Rugby plays, but I quite like Rel when paired with the Kai'Sa in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the bans here and I see Munster banning out the Alistar, which is also pretty nice with the Kai'Sa, I think it's probably gonna be Rel support here.
Yeah, this is so many supports being picked here, and there is a Lysandra that technically could still be flex. You could have Lysandra in the top lane, but this kind of makes me feel like we'll be sending the Jace towards top lane, which is very surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely wouldn't want Jace top here, I think. Oh yeah, this is a champion.
Give me the Space Dragon.
This is a champion.
I mean,
and it's getting locked in.
He kind of gets dumpstered in the early levels, which is a bit unfortunate. But if this champion is unleashed, he's just such a menace, especially when you get the Rylai's going and you just chain your W's back to back to back and keep, cleaning up team fights with your reset ability.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think the Nunu is going to come in here, but I would absolutely love it.
I mean, it would be quite spicy here, but yeah, like you said, probably... Oh, wait, what?
What? Okay. Okay, I'm excited. Monster Rugby convinced me. This composition looks like chaos, and they don't even have Dr. Chaos on their team.
Yeah. Noon in the jungle for MRG. I mean, they're definitely cooking here for game 1. Wait.
I mean, the Maokai could technically go into the support position, and then Zed could... Wait, what?
Hold up.
Wait. My brain is
teams,
malfunctioning. So, Lysandra support. I mean, technically, you could go in with your E, land your full combo. Generally, when you land your full combo, especially when you use your ultimate offensively, you are kind of a sitting duck there because you don't have anything else available. But then Kalista pulls you out, you go back in, your cooldowns are back up, you start CCing people again. So, I can kind of see it. It's not really standard. But then again, neither is the Nunu. So, what is meta even at this point?
Yeah. I mean, if Kai'Sa dives in, she will get the Lysandra ultimate to her face. She does have cleanse, of course, to answer that, but yeah, both teams are playing Master Chef here, game number 1. Lysandra support, Nunu jungle.
This isn't just cooking. This is, preparing an all-you-can-eat feast, and I am enjoying it. I am sitting here with my fork and my knife and my spoon, and I'm just ready to eat whatever they produce.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get the banger. Of course, this is a best of 5 series tonight. Munster versus Lightside. This is going to be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, if this first game, this first draft is any indication of what we're about to get tonight, then if I can get 5 games of this, this is going to be some of the most beautiful League of Legends that I have seen in a while. I'm done with all the standard meta champions. Slapping the Nunu, slapping the Lysandra support, give me the Zed. We're here to cook, and, I'm all for it. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. We are about ready to get into game number 1 there. Still in loading screen, but, well, we do have some, well, I mean, I would say a noob producer here for this series, but it's all good, ladies and gents. Here we are. Yeah, and it's also TR5, first game on TR5, so some settings may be a bit weird. If you tell us about them, we will adjust them 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes later. True, we have a bit of a delay going on, but it's fine. We will listen to you. My eyes are on the Twitch chat, so if anyone wants to give us some information, my eyes are always kind of peeling over there. And I'm actually really excited. I'm watching the chat right now as the Nunu is locked in. And I want to see what happens when the Zed's also locked in, if the chat's as confused as we are, because I'm still trying to recover from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fixed now. I just realized we have the ugly timers here for game 1. Think I can get it fixed for game 2.
Hey, well, just like most champions, we are scaling into the late game, and by game 5, our production will be magnificent.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
We're kind of like Aurelian Soul, we're just floating around, collecting orbs, and somehow our production will ascend.
Yeah. I do want to talk about this Jace top lane. I'm really surprised Lightside went for it. I thought it was gonna be Jace mid lane here, but maybe they were like, okay, we can't really punish Aurelion Sol mid lane if we have Jace. Instead, we will leave R5 for Painful, and just Jace will have to take the L in this one, because I don't think that Lightside will ever play for this top lane.
Yeah, I find it very weird. You're definitely right there. I mean, Jace in isolation, in a 1v1 matchup, he can take over a matchup. But then we're looking at who he's playing into, and he's playing into Cassante, who's a champion that's also like, hey, I don't really care what you do to me. I'm Cassante. I will just randomly kill you, and I will not die in my lane. So if Jace cannot get a lead from there, and Cassante can just kind of chill, then Cassante can become a really big menace in the later stage of the game. So I don't know exactly why they went for this draft. I guess, like you talked about now, maybe they were like, we don't think Jace is a great matchup into Aurelion Sol, which I don't think I agree with, by the way. I think Aurelion Sol actually gets kind of roughed up quite a bit by Jace. But Zed can do it a lot better, especially post 6, so that could be the angle, but it's still a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the thought process is that Jace doesn't punish Aurelion well enough early on, but I don't know, actually. I feel like he probably does.
They're cooking and we're just watching. We don't know what's going on in their heads.
Yeah.
But I guess as the game proceeds, we'll see what's going on, and we'll see if we can kind of like piece together what exactly they were thinking. At least Jace, even if he isn't super far ahead, there isn't a lot of sustain on the side of Munster Rugby. So if Jace gets like 2-3 items, he gets the Dust Blades, the Real Dust tier setup, and he starts poking people down, it at least opens up a window for the hard engage of the other 4 champions to go in aggressively and then start to get a cleanup going. So maybe that's why they wanted to have him, just so he can be a tool to set up the engage later on.
Yeah, and one thing to say as well, Butchie has been a Jace main. He has over 1,000 games played on this champion. Probably several thousand, so that's one reason to put it on him.
I mean, you told me before, before the game, without giving me any details, but you told me, hey, I heard some cooking was going on. And obviously, you can't say anything if you know anything, but you were definitely right. There is some cooking going on, and it's MasterChef.
I think this is really fun to see Lissandra support, because I remember thinking about this pick like several years ago. I was like, there's no way Lissandra support isn't good. It has to work.
So much CC.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I actually, the game isn't too spicy right now, so we're just kind of like podcasting our way through here. But one champion that I actually find really, really fun to play, especially when I'm playing against people who are slightly worse, is LeBlanc support. It's like, you just like dash in there, you chain someone, you double chain someone. Like, is it amazing? No, but like nobody catches you. Your roams are insane because of your mobility. It's beautiful, and I think Lissandra kind of similar thing. We do have a gank in mid lane now, though.
Yeah, we saw Nunu pick up the Skull Crab, use the W. Oh, Lightside going aggressive bot lane here. Shakur has been forced to use the cleanse already. I think that is going to be it for this skirmish, but Lightside winning out on that trade.
Right, so we do see Kai'Sa being very low. Her cleanse was burned as well, so priority has been acquired here for the side of Lundqvist. Pressure is also slowly accumulating for the side of Zed in the mid lane as the mana for Aurelion Sol goes lower and lower, but the Nunu gank definitely freed up a little bit more for Aurelion Sol to just kind of, sit back and scale up. As long as he stays relatively even in CS, Aurelion Sol is winning, but he definitely needs to be scared of the Zed more after level 6 comes through, because that's when the real kill pressure starts to pop up for the Zed.
Once again, looking for a gank here now in bot lane, but Lightside are completely fine here. I should tell you... oh, actually, never mind. Dr. Chaos going forward, it may be a bit too far here, as he would probably be forced to flash out. He will do so. Lightside will find first blood. Probably will find 2 kills, and actually, Lightside are the ones coming out on top. They're finding a 2-for-1, even though Nunu was there.
Damn, that was very well played by the bot lane of Lundqvist there. They really just made sure they deleted the first champion before the Nunu could even come in. They evened up the score, and they actually got a 2-for-1 in a 2v3 fight.
Yeah, that's yeah, go ahead.
That does allow Maokai to now invade topside, make sure he gets some vision down there, take a camp away from the Nunu, and really just make sure that he is in a very good spot to, get to his 1-2 item power spike where Maokai really comes online. Once he finishes up that demonic embrace and then he slaps on, the healing when he uses the ultimate, that's when he really becomes a very menacing team fighting champion. And the sooner he can get to that point, the sooner Dr. Chaos can potentially die. Well, very close. I actually thought he already used his E, so I thought he was doomed. Fortunately for him, he hadn't, and he's fine.
Yeah,
I've coming in mid lane.
For a ganky. Citroens onto the Aurelion Sol. The set ultimate as well. Maokai taking so much damage, and Aurelion Sol is going to survive. MRG turn it around as Lightside go too far forward there. Nice punish by Munster Rugby Gaming.
Yeah, I really like the idea here for Lundqvist to be like, hey, we need to shut down this dragon in the mid lane who's just going to scale up and become a monster. So let's just make sure we all go there, we dive in. But Munster Rugby was like, you know what, we know you're coming. We're there to contest, and we're there to, you know, give a kill to Aurelion Sol. So now Aurelion Sol's on the board. He has a single kill. He is a bit down in CS, but the kill definitely does make up for it. And like I said, as long as he stays relatively even with the Zed, his relevance in the game moving forward is going to be so much bigger than a Zed could ever put out.
Yeah. Oof. I do want to tell you one thing, EK, that we don't really say Lundqvist, we say Lightside. But
oh, do we?
yes.
Really? Really? Lightside. Okay. I've always just said Lundqvist. I don't know. Okay. You know, thank you for correcting me. I'll go for Lightside now. So Munster Rugby and Lightside.
Yeah, it's fine, man. Like you said, we're scaling. By game 5,
yeah,
everything is going to be perfect.
You know, production scaling, teams are scaling, casting is scaling. You know, if drafting is also scaling, we're about to get some really amazing drafts. Because this is already like high quality drafting right here.
Yeah. Nietzsche just hit level 6 here. Maybe Lightside could go for a dive. Lissandra can, of course, go in there, tank the tower, and then get pulled out by the Kalista. Looks like they will do it. Go on towards the Kai'Sa. Oh, Lissandra is so low. But the Kalista ultimately comes down, and they find the first kill here. Killing spree now for Nietzsche. I say we look for the red as well. Lissandra
That's coming in.
Yeah, Painful is here. Actually, Chaos falls to tower. A bit of a disaster here, but it looks like they will secure the kill here. Oh, but Nietzsche is gonna die as well here. And Lightside are gonna lose another member. Painful going to be in trouble. Nunadab coming down, and Nord will survive. Or actually, Painful picks it up, but he dies. It ends up as a 3-4-3, but it should have been way better for Lightside there.
That looked very promising at the start there. You know, getting the aggro with the Lissandra was the correct call, because then you know, you can use the Kalista ultimate to drop the aggro. But things went wrong when Lightside couldn't, you know, convert into kills quick enough. Aurelion Sol comes down as well, chasing the Zed, gets a double kill. Now, Kalista is very strong right now. Kalista's sitting on 4 kills, and she is the type of champion that if she starts to snowball, she can, you know, really aggressively position forward, make sure she, you know, secures the objectives, and snowballs the game out of control. But there is still the scaling aspect of the Aurelion Sol that I'm getting more and more worried about as he's getting more and more kills.
Yeah, he's also 3-0 right now, the infinitely scaling dragon. And one thing I want to note is that Nidget on the Kalista has picked up 2 recurve bows here. I'm not sure if it's intended or if it's misfire.
I don't know. I mean, I have never heard of the tech where you buy double recurve bow. I mean, you could use both recurve bows, but I don't know if you'd ever want to. Yeah. But then again, you know, the attack speed is getting is pretty massive. So maybe it's like mathematically a thing, but I wouldn't know, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I guess... Oh, dive? No, actually, Dr. Chaos is going to be the one dying here, as Lightside just wanted to cancel the recall from the Space Dragon, but instead he just picks up another kill here.
Yeah, this is rough, because all the money for Munster Rugby is just going into this mid laner. This guy is getting out of control. He's 4-0. He picked up the Rod of Ages. He's now moving towards buying a Zhonya's. And once a Zhonya's comes in, look at the composition for Lightside here. There is, you know, an 80 mid laner, an 80 you know, 80 carry. There's an 80 top laner. There's pretty much only AD except for the support and the jungler, who, yeah, they do have damage.
Oh, okay, Q flash there from the Kazante. Butchie will be forced to use this as well. And actually, even though Dr. Chaos fell there earlier, Lightside are still the ones picking up the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, I think at this point, Munster Rugby is just thinking, hey, we have 4 kills on Aurelion Sol, but even though he has those 4 kills, you know, he's building scaling items, he is a scaling champion. You know, he isn't as strong as some other champions would be when they're 4-0. It's just that, you know, these kills are going to get him to his power level a lot quicker, which is the main issue here. So I think they're perfectly fine just giving up a Drake. I don't want to, you know, risk giving...
Kidnap over the wall here. Nord is here as well. Butchie should be dead here for sure. Actually, deals a lot of damage onto Xante. Oh my god, he turns it around, finds the kill. But he will still die here. Nicely played by Butchie.
Now, what will happen on the other side of the map here? We do have Maokai moving into the bot lane. Maokai has ultimate available, so he can go very aggressive. He also has the flash to make a big play. And keep in mind, they do have the Kalista ultimate to have Lissandra tank and then drop the aggro. So Munster Rugby is respecting it, backing up a little bit, but we do see Nunu coming in as well.
Yeah.
This could be a 3v3 about to break out.
Painful coming as well, and they will go on towards Gas, dealing so much damage. She will get the ultimate off though, and will survive. Aurelian Soul is here to turn around. First kill onto Nikit, already dead here. Em's going to find the same fate, probably uses the flash to try to get out here, but another Aurelian Soul E should mean another kill picked up here. Painful, ran down, will be forced to use the death market to dodge out on the well W, but he's just going to drop here. Will survive for a few seconds. Actually, could he get out here? Goes back in on towards the rail. I'm not sure about that. And 6-0 now for Influentic on the Aurelian Soul.
Oh, he is becoming so incredibly strong. If he bases now and picks up Zonias, you know, he should be pretty much unmatchable in any lane. I talked about how this champion is, you know, he's not really a champion that really activates 12 minutes. But if he gets 6 kills, every champion will activate it at 12 minutes. You know, he is, well, he picked up boots right now. He's still itemizing towards the Zonias. But once he gets that, as I was talking about, there are so many champions who want to dive on him and try and kill him. But both the armor plus the stay safe ability, it's going to make it so hard for Lightside to actually one-shot this dragon, especially because he's also becoming quite tanky, giving his other itemization.
Yeah, this space dragon will start breathing fire, and it's going to hurt a lot as the game progresses.
Now we do have a bit of a skirmish potentially coming out here. We do have a snowball coming in. I don't think they go aggressive on this. There is a little bit of poke onto the set. Space dragon is just, you know, going nuts onto their fat member of... Oh my god, that feels really bad. You know, you're like, guys, I am super strong on the Kai'Sa. I want to go and make some plays happen. But then this dragon just comes flying at you, spews some fire in your face, and you just melt.
Yeah, I mean, even directed camera didn't know what to do there. It was looking bot lane, top lane, bot lane. It was like, no way Aurelian Soul deals that much damage early on, but no, it does. And it just flickered back the bot, and Nikit is just
Don't
dead.
worry. The automatic camera is also scaling.
Yeah.
So yeah, now the thing that Lightside is probably thinking is, okay, we were really falling behind. They're also, you know, generally when you have a Maokai, you're thinking, okay, we at least have a very strong team fight. You know, you layer the Maokai ultimate, you put some other like long range damage on top of it, like a Rumble ultimate normally or something like it. But there isn't really a champion who offers the same thing. Yeah, you can shoot a shock blast there. You might have a bit of a fight in top here. I don't think anything should happen of it.
Yeah. Emp is here as well. The ultimate has come down and he should get rooted up, but he will dodge out on it. Still going to be in a lot of trouble here. Has the all-out form, of course, and he will use it here onto Butchie, but he gets twisted advance upon and he will fall here. Another kill for Butchie, as Painful is in a 1v3. Goes down. First kill now for Shakur on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and Kai'Sa, you know, she's also not a champion that you want to have scaling. Yeah, she's not really in soul, but her W's are going to start hurting depending on which build she's going for. It does look like she is at least going for the Cracker Slayer build, so that is not going to be the, hey, my W's will destroy you build.
He doesn't have
but it's still very strong.
Dead, no?
I think, yeah, because he still has W, right? Yeah, there we go. Easy kill. That's another kill for the Aurelian Soul. He picks up the Honey Fruit. He's level 11.
Yep, Chaos now gonna be in trouble as well. But the Kalista ultimate comes down from Nikit. Will they go forward here onto Musi? They will indeed. The Lissandra ultimate gets popped here. And the Ren is not enough to secure the kill. Another re-engage as Influentic is here. Nikit will try to kill Musi. Will get the kill. But MRG get 2 for themselves.
It's starting to feel to me like Lightside is just a bit desperate in this game right now. They're thinking, hey, we are running out of time. We still have a pretty strong Kalista in this state of the game. Kalista scales very well with early gold, so she's relatively strong even with...
1v1 bot lane here. Kai'Sa has no ultimate already used it, and Butchie just gets another solo kill
okay.
Here.
Well, Bushi is thinking, hey, this caster is trying to tell us that we don't have, you know, any way into this game, but let me show him by just solo killing their AD carry. It works. It should give them Dragon as well right now, so at least they're building up a win condition when they could try and play for the Soul. Soul is a very good win condition when you do have the Kalista to grab the secure, although Nunu can also do a kind of a similar thing.
They will try to take it away, and Nunu will be the one securing it. Lightside could look for the fight. They could look for the Aurelian Soul. The 9-0 Dragon, can they get the shutdown? No, he just zooms out. And MRG just take the Dragon in the face of Lightside. Can he perhaps kill the K'Sante here? It's going to take a lot of damage, but he just flashes out to safety. Now Chaos going to be in trouble, doesn't have flash. Maybe there's a Kalista ultimate. No, there's not. Chaos is just going to fall here.
And I just really love this itemization here from the Aurelion Soul, just building a Rylai's second. I really love it. I like that he's like, you know what? I have the component for the Zhonya's, but I don't actually need the full-on Zhonya's right now. There just isn't that much damage on the side of Lightside. So let me just make sure I finish the Rylai's. That's going to really make it very difficult to get away when he's just flying in, spewing fire in his face. That could be not a kill, but that was very close.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do to contest it, so we have a fight on top lane.
Here. Already has used the flash. Aurelion Sol still has his flash. Don't think Butchie can go for that now.
Yeah, and that is a Herald picked up as well. I do wonder where they're going to throw this down. I do think at this point you probably want to open up that mid turret.
Painful is looking for the shutdown. Can he find it? No, he can't.
You know, if he got that, even if he died for it, I definitely would have called Worth on that. I would have just opened all chat and been like, hey, Worth.
Yes.
Because that would have been 1k gold going to the pocket of Painful. Unfortunately, you know, the itemization of the Aurelion Soul. Aurelion Soul is a mage, but there is so much armor and HP right now picked up for him that it's going to be so difficult for even a Zed to try and get the one shot.
Yeah, very, very tanky. So the thing that I would say is in Lightside's favor is they have a lot of poke around objectives. So as long as MRG can't find engage, Lightside should be fine. But then again, there is a 9-0 Aurelion Soul, so maybe that just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think at this point, you know, the poke is good, but there is so much engage that Munster Rugby can pull off that I think it's going to be very hard to poke people down. Now, Zed is trying to prove me wrong. Really chunking out the Kai'Sa here. We do have a snowball coming in. Could potentially be looking for a play.
And the Nunu. Can they get onto Lightside? Lightside seems to be okay for now. M taking a lot of damage, but it's just going to be able to run out here. Lightside get the tower. Could look for a re-engage on towards the Rel. They haven't used Solisandra ultimate just yet. Musi running very low, but there is just a dragon standing there zoning off Lightside, saying you shall not pass.
Now I would just need a Gandalf skin for Aurelion Soul. I don't know how that's gonna work. And I don't like. Do you reckon he's gonna start out as like Aurelion Soul the Grey, and then at some level, like level 16 or something, he becomes Aurelion Soul the White, and that's when he activates?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
We gotta sneak in some Lord of the Rings memes here and there. It's important. All right, we have a 1v1 in top lane.
Lord could be in trouble here. He does have the absolute zero. Butchie dealing a lot of damage, but not enough to take him down. Shakur now potentially gonna go on towards Butchie. Will indeed dash forward. Butchie doesn't have flash and will get shut down here. Painful finds himself in a 1v1 bot lane up against the K'Sante. Not sure Painful is strong enough to deal with the K'Sante right now.
Yeah, I don't think he wins that matchup. Just look at the amount of armor that is sitting on the K'Sante right now. There's pretty much only armor right there, armor and HP. So he's going to have a very hard time dealing with them. And the good thing for Munster Rugby here is they can pretty much itemize only armor. Because as I talked about, there is magic damage, but it's coming from the support and it's coming from the jungle position. And yeah, there is some damage there, but it's not enough to really threaten a tank. So you can just itemize pretty much full armor and be almost invincible to anyone trying to kill you.
Yeah. Shakur picking up the top lane tower, and Rift Herald charging in mid lane almost takes down the last standing outer tower for Lightside.
Like, I'm just trying to think back to draft and what we were talking about, and obviously this game is far from over. There is only about a 3k gold lead to the side of Munster Rugby, which is definitely not insurmountable, but we do have the scaling advantage come in from Munster Rugby, as the game progresses. But one thing that I do want to touch upon is the Jace being swapped into the top lane. I think I would have rather seen something like the Jace going mid lane and then slapping in somewhere like a cannon in top lane, just so you have the ability to find an engage into the back line and have a more diversified damage threat. But they're going to have to work with the Jace and see if they can try and land sufficient poke to really destroy the backline. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Jace top has been working out for Lightside. It's just that, well, mid lane has been an issue, and I wouldn't say that the Zed has been bad into the Aurelion. Aurelion has just gotten a lot of kills on these skirmishes, which I wouldn't say has anything to do with the champions picked, but yeah.
Oh no,
it's not ideal.
I agree. I just think that the composition that Lightside has drafted for themselves kind of needs to really win the early skirmishes and then snowball from there. And if they don't do that, they're kind of doomed.
Yeah, but then this happens. Lissandra ultimate comes down, but Dr. Chaos is just going to fall here. Potentially.
Decent damage coming out from the Lissandra, actually.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this could be a Baron angle. There is a teleport available for Aurelion Soul. He could just base and teleport away. There is a flank ward as well, potentially, if he wants to go very aggressive. But I don't know if he wants to do that right now.
going forward.
Dragon is available as well. I think they just want to go for the secure option. Now, they're all pathing towards bot lane. Lightside could try and sneak a Baron if Munster Rugby overcommits towards the Drake, but I don't think they will.
Now they just go there with the Noon is going to solo it. It is going to be a free objective here for MRG. And this is rough for Lightside. They really need to get some items here on the Zed, on the Jace, closing in on the Muramana, going for the Cyrillas next up. Could be something similar for the Zed as well. Some armor penetration.
Yes. So the way Lightside finds their way back into this game is finding picks, using Lysandra ultimate combined with like the Zed ultimate and just, layering everything on top of 1 or 2 targets. They really have to try and find this Aurelion Soul. Now, the problem with it is that Aurelion Soul has been playing fairly defensively and has itemized in a way where he's very hard to one-shot. So if they can't absolutely delete him in the CC duration, he's going to Zhonya's, and then, his team will most likely be coming back in, provided he has proper positioning. So it's going to be hard, but I do want Lightside to try and look for some wards, try and find some flanks where they can really, just find the Aurelion Soul and pop him. Because keep in mind, a lot of the gold is actually on the Aurelion Soul, and finding a shutdown on him is going to give 1k gold over to whoever gets the kill.
Yeah, and speaking of the gold being on Aurelion Soul, as you can see, it's a 2000 gold lead for MRG, but the individual gold, well, actually, I thought the gold lead for Aurelion would be larger. It's, well, quote-unquote, only 2000 gold lead for the Aurelion Soul.
I mean, at this point of the game, like, 2k gold is a fairly big amount, but it's not, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think the problem comes in when you're comparing their champions and how useful the gold is going to be.
Niptit gets forced to flash up, and Kaiser goes aggressive. But maybe Nuno has gone too far forward here. Emp and Dr. Kios try to deal damage, but they don't really have any damage to deal. And Emp is slowly but surely going to fall here. And this should mean that MRG are going to start the Baron. Butchie is answering by split pushing bot lane, going to take down the inner tower slowly but surely. But I think Lightside will have to give the Baron here unless Butchie will TP here.
I wonder what choice they're going to make here. They could just give up the Baron or try and flip it. There isn't a jungler with Smite available, so you really can't do too much.
Yeah,
there we go. It is gone. It's so easy to secure it on Nunu because it's just 2k HP, consume Smite, kill.
Yeah.
It's extremely simple. Now, can Butchie get out though? Because he's in bot lane right now. Jace can probably just run away, but I was kind of maybe thinking that Munster Rugby were going to try and chase him down, but they were just going to look for the reset and make sure they could get back on the map, spend their gold, and use this Baron buff to great effect.
Yeah, and I don't think MRD should be able to end the game with this Baron, but they could potentially look to open up at least one inhibitor depending on how they want to play this one.
Yeah, you definitely want to try and use this Baron, not necessarily to end the game. I mean, obviously, if you can, you could take it. But what you want to do right now is you just want to make sure you get the standing gold. There's still 3 outer turrets available, and if you can try and get all of them, that's just a lot of gold being into your pockets.
Doesn't deal any damage at all, and the Aurelion Soul ultimately comes down on towards Empire. And he takes so much damage, gets forced to flash out. Aurelion Soul down to have it be, still has the stopwatch, or Sonya's rather, will probably have to use it here. Painful actually finds a kill on towards the Rel, and gets invulnerable. Here Kaga in 1 versus 3 here. Painful should fall to Nord, but no, he's going. Oh, flash forward from the Nunu, but still Painful lives here. And now Nord is very far forward, he's very deep. And 1 versus 4, Lightside find 2 kills here. And the Kaiser would have to back up as well. Aurelion Soul has already based. Lightside somehow find a really nice fight there. And that will make the Baron push so much less effective for MRG. As Chaos goes for ultimate, Cleanse comes up. Oh my god, the Kalista ultimate. And Shakur is so low, flashes off. Butchie flash forward. And they will find 2 kills there. Dr. Chaos surviving with a sliver of HP. As Lightside find, I think it was a 4 for 0.
There are signs of life in Lightside. They really just punished the mistake from Munster Rugby. Munster Rugby was, they were getting a little bit too comfortable there. They were throwing ultimates where they weren't getting full effectiveness out of them. They were splitting up a bit too much, and I think they were kind of feeling themselves. And unfortunately for them, Lightside just completely took over that fight. They focused down one target after another. Zed got out of the fight just because he procced the Dustblade. Now we do have Painful on a ward right now, and this could be a big play.
Yeah, he's dead. He's super dead.
He's so dead. Now, good thing is that there are no objectives up right now. Now, Dragon is spawning fairly soon. So I do think that Munster Rugby is going to make sure they push the side lanes out and they're prepared to contest the next Drake, because you want to get to soul point. It's nice to have, but fortunately for Painful, there isn't something like a Baron that he loses of it.
Yeah, I do want to deep dive a bit in the play we just had. Unfortunately, we don't have any replays, but what I saw is that Painful went forward with the death mark on towards the Aurelian Soul, and then also killed Rel at the same time. So Aurelian tried to one-shot the set, it was quite low, but he got the what's it called? The Dustblade proc.
Yeah.
So he got invulnerable. I don't know if it was intended, but it was really nicely done by Painful. We then just survived the Aurelian. Fortunately, couldn't kill the Space Dragon, who's now 11-0. But still really nicely done by Lightside.
And look at what our well-known Space Dragon is building right now. He has 2 rods, and everyone knows, everyone learns in school that 2 rods make a hat. That's just how science works. So he's gonna have a nice hat very soon, and his damage is gonna be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I just realized I haven't... Oh, actually, never mind. I'm already going forward. He's gonna find 2
Beautiful!
kills with a really nice engage here. Going to open up potentially the mid inhibitor. Really nice hard engage by MRG.
That was very well played. Aurelian Soul flying in forward. This couldn't be another kill. Okay, Seth trying to make the play happen.
Damage, trying to survive, but it's just in a 1v5 pretty much. Will just go down. Oh, but she can go to Sakur, who will use the ultimate out of the wall here. But now the red goes super deep. Onyas comes down from Influentic. Butchie finds a kill onto Musi. MRG find the inner tower, but I think they may have gone a bit too deep there. Can not open up Lightside's base now.
Yeah, that was, that was Painful trying to be cheeky there, because, pretty much everyone would expect him to go back to his, his shadow. So you could clearly see that Nunu was trying to angle his snowball towards his shadow to try and predict the swap. He didn't swap, he was trying to get some outplay going, but unfortunately he was in the middle of 3 different champions and he just couldn't do anything. And look at the size of that Aurelian Soul E. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to be harder and harder for Lightside to ever make something happen, especially even if they win a fight. As long as Aurelian Soul lives, he just throws down the E, and it's so difficult to push into an Aurelian Soul.
Yeah, I don't know how many stacks Aurelian Soul should have, what's not much, but he's sitting on 350 stacks right now.
That's quite some.
Yeah, he definitely deals damage, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's finished his hat, so now he is a very fancy dragon who has a nice red head, and when he starts spewing fire right now, his Q is gonna deal some damage to pretty much everyone, especially given that there is no real tank on the side of Lightside right now. Yeah, there is Maokai, but he has 1 tank item. And he is going to get absolutely melted even by the Kai'Sa at this point in the game, because Kai'Sa is also itemizing into very high single target DPS right now with the crit build. So everyone who face checks will just into die.
Finding Butchie, flashless Jace should probably be able to take him down. Oh my god, Aurelian's ultimate did so much damage, and Jace will be the one falling. Emp going forward on towards Influentic, who's very low here. Sakur will go on towards Emp, trying to find a kill, will secure for himself. But meanwhile, Lightside turning it around on a different front here, finding 1 kill. Nitchit looking for Sakur as well. Nitchit will survive with 1 HP, and double kill now for Painful. And they try to find Kaga. Nitchit will be the one falling. Dr. Chaos gets hit by the Q3 from Kaga. Double kill for him. And only Painful is standing between MRG and winning game 1 here.
That fight looked incredibly close, but once again, Aurelian Soul just couldn't be taken out. He backed away, he teleported back in. He is 12:07 right now. They break open the base, objectives are about to respawn, and this game is looking over.
Yeah, they will not go for the end here. Instead, they will try to go for the safer play. They will go for the... Oh, no. They will go for the even safer play, the reset.
Now, nice. I do wonder what Aurelian Soul is going to purchase here, because he could itemize towards a Void Staff, but there isn't really that much MR on the side of Lightside right now. So, I could see him going for something spicy. So we'll kind of just, have to keep an eye on his inventory and see what he's going to buy.
Yeah. An interesting pickup here by Butch is the Serpent Fang. Oh, it has actually reduced quite a lot of shielding already.
Yeah, it's I think it's a pretty good and often underrated item, especially when playing into very big shields. I don't think in this game the shields are that big really, but I guess it could come in handy when you're trying to, one-shot the Kai'Sa or something.
Nunu snowball here. Kaga's on the flank. He has found Nikit, but he can't really go for him. He's very low here. Painful will go with the death mark on towards Gisante, who is super low, and it was enough to take him down. Chaos has fallen. Nikit going to go down to Shakur as well. And Butchie will try to go for the hero play, but will just get taken down. Will actually find Shakur though, and Painful finds some damage on towards Nunu, but goes forward. He will try to kill Aurelian Soul, but no, it's not enough. Stopwatch for Painful. Emp will try to come here as well, but I think Painful is just dead. He is indeed. Emp will just have to run away, and Aurelian Soul 15-0.
Painful played that really well, and for a moment there I thought he was going to find the Aurelian Soul, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't quite get on top of him. Now they are looking to potentially go for another pick here.
We'll go for Emp.
I think if he just flies in here, they get the kill. I mean, I don't think there's enough damage on Emp to blow up the Aurelian Soul, so I think he can just kind of sit back and have his front line keep him in position. Just like slapping them a little bit.
Emp is just dead there. Took quite some time, so everyone on Lightside will be able to respawn here, but the Dragon has spawned. It will be Cloud Soul here for MRG.
Yeah, that's you know, at this point I don't think Cloud Soul is going to be one of those, hey, we win the game off of getting the soul things, but it's a very nice to have thing. I do think they want to reset right now and make sure they do secure the Baron, because this is the Baron that could end the game, you know.
I think Lightside, or will the TP top here with Painful, they could look to start up the Baron. They do have Kalista Ren, but no, they just wanted to get out on the map here.
Look at the big snowball though. You know, I quite like the way that snowball looks.
Yeah.
Nice and colorful. Now, I do want the division here, make sure... Well, there isn't really an division right now because of the control ward. I don't want them to 50-50 this. I want them to make sure that they secure this, although Consume Smite is very strong, and there we go, it is secured for Munster Rugby. Now, this Baron should be the one that completely breaks open the base. There's already the mid inhibitor broken, and I do think they need to look to opening 1 or 2 more inhibitors with this, or trying to secure a team fight win and just end the game.
Yep, and Aurelian Soul has now picked up the Void Staff on full build here. Still, if Lightside kill Aurelian Soul, they probably have a good chance, but we're 33 minutes in and Aurelian Soul has yet to die a single time, has the Sonias, no flash, but still has been proven very difficult to kill in this one, and MRG are looking to close out the game with this Baron buff.
Am I the only one who's a little bit disappointed that there is not a Magi in his inventory?
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
I mean, he's 16-0, like, where's the Magi, my man?
Yeah.
So, standing gold being picked up, and do keep in mind, you know, reaching the point of the game where just a bit of gold isn't that meaningful anymore. You know, we're really moving into the part of the game where it's all about just getting the actual objectives. Potential engage coming in here.
Oh, some damage coming down on towards the Nunu, who gets forced to use the ultimate for the shield.
He's fine though, and that is Maokai ulti now down. Now Maokai ulti is like the big engage tool for the side of Lightside. So it is going to be harder for them now to stop the Baron push. I do think they just want to keep on going and try and break this inhibitor. Turret's quite low. Who's charging in here? He's feeling it.
And tower is for sure gone here. Lightside will just have to give this inhibitor as well, most likely. They could of course look for an engage here, but there is all. Oh my god! Almost one shot Dr. Chaos, who uses the self ultimate. Nikit has the ultimate as well, and they do deal damage on towards the Kisante, who will stay alive though. In it falls, flash engage from Mushi, finds 2 people. Painful gets 1 shot, Butchie falling as well. Lightside probably going to lose the game here unless they can find a pick. Emp flashing out, but the Nexus towers are already dying here. Legendary Aurelian Soul, Kaga super low, but he has the shield item, will get taken down, but the Nexus is open. Even though Lightside can fight some kills, MRG will be the one securing game number 1 after 35 minutes.
That is a 17:08 Aurelian Soul full build, 35 minutes into this game. He had a monster of a game and just completely took over. You know, I like how he spent this time roaming to bot lane, trying to get some cleanup kills. In team fights, he played fairly defensive. You know, quite often you see Aurelian Souls flying in very aggressively, you know, really greedy for the kills, and then they will often end up dying. He must have had a very strong, you know, sense of playing safe there, because it's very hard to be like 12-0 and not be like, hey guys, I'm going in, I'm killing them all. Played very defensively, and I can appreciate that, because he was the carry, and if he died, the game was going to become a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Aurelian Soul just took over the game, a late game champion, strong in the early game. Yeah, I mean, it's a rough one for Lightside. Who actually, I would say, even though the Aurelion was so strong, I would say Lightside did pretty fine, especially that that 4 for 0 they found after the Baron. There was signs of life from Lightside, but they just couldn't kill the Aurelion Soul. There was, well, it was just not enough for them.
Yeah, I think Lightside, as much as they fell behind early game, and we've kind of talked about this topic multiple times, but their team composition definitely fell off a cliff relative to the Munster Rugby team composition. So the fact that even in the mid game, when they were down in gold and playing against the team composition that they were not favored against, and still like kind of out skirmished them, to a couple wins here and there, made sure they came out of fights equal. That says something about their ability to team fight. And I think if they have a similar game, but they're on a more even footing where their composition works better and or they're not down in gold as much as they were, I can definitely see them coming out of those skirmishes ahead and take over the game.
Final take before we head into a break. Will Aurelion Sol be banned game 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, either that or they're gonna have like some spicy cooking and get like a great counter pick for it. But I think just remove the champion. They're done. Get the champion out of here.
Yeah. Alright, ladies and gents, we will head into a short break, but don't go too far. We do have at least 2 more games ahead of us. Lightside versus MRG, back in a moment. Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We just saw Munster take down Lightside in 35 minutes. And yeah, it was a bit of a rough one, or what do you have to say?
Yeah, I'm just still kind of baffled at how extremely out of control that the Aurelian Soul got. And I just really want to see how the draft adaptations come in here, especially given the fact that we talked about it. There was a very big scaling difference between these two teams. And I want to see if Lightside chooses to either adapt and go into a more scaling composition themselves, or if they're doubling down, they're like, hey, we think we're stronger in the early game, we're going to roll back a similar composition, but this time we're going to execute better and actually win the game. So that's definitely my main thought going into Game 2's draft.
Yeah, and I do want to speak a bit about a champion. We spoke a bit about it during the break, the Nunu. I think, of course, MRG won the game. It worked out fine for them. But I was expecting a lot more aggression when I saw a champion like the Nunu being locked in here.
Yeah, I think generally you're correct. I think when you're seeing a Nunu, you kind of, expect this really annoying champion. Like everywhere you go, you're like, oh no, this guy is coming in, with the snowball, trying to like mess up my day and really get some lanes going in the early game. He tried going for that, but unfortunately he couldn't really get that many ganks off in the early game. And he kind of became a, hey, I am just going to CC people. I'm going to stand in front of you and I'm going to secure objectives with my smite consume combo. I don't think he was really the driving force of the game. It was really just, where is Aurelian Soul and can Rel set up the engage. But I also don't think he was like a detriment to his team. He kind of like knew his role. Like he kind of didn't really have the impact in the early game he wanted to have. And then he transitioned into a more supportive position.
Yeah, definitely filled the role he needed to have here. So, is there any adaptation you would like to see from Lightside coming into Game 2 here?
I mean, personally, I'm never a big fan of compositions that really need to snowball the early game extremely hard. We can think back to the days when everyone's running stuff like Renekton in Italy. You had to get ahead early game or you kind of just fell off a cliff. And I think when those kind of compositions are executed to perfection, they're beautiful to watch. But I do think as well that if you do make a mistake, if you start losing early game with a composition like that, you're kind of doomed unless you somehow make some massive plays happen. So I would kind of like to see them also draft a little bit more late game and especially make sure that they're drafting a little bit more of a mixed damage profile because they were extremely AD heavy. And I think itemization for Munster Rugby just became extremely simple as a result of it because they could just itemize armor and they were kind of invincible.
Yeah, that was an issue. And I think for Lightside, they really tried to get the bot lane going. Had it worked out, it could have been a whole different game. But it was MRG who came out on top with those nice roams down from the Aurelian Soul. Really, just covering the distance on the map here and making it happen for his team in Flentic on the Aurelian.
Yeah, and we can definitely talk about the bot lane for Lightside a little bit because we did at some point have I think 4-0 or 4-1 Kalista coming out of the lane. And she was doing a lot of work in team fights. But the issue with Kalista is that she is fairly short range and she had to step into the, range of Aurelian Soul's Q. And when Aurelian Soul's Q hits you like it's a volcano erupting or something, that's when you just, you can't really step up aggressively into that champion. So you kind of lose your effectiveness. I think if that was a champion that had a bit more range and you can poke down your Aurelian Soul from further away, that can open up a lot more damage opportunities for you. Now, let's see what happens in the draft here. So far, I think the draft is identical to what it was last time. But I'm wondering if we see some last-minute adaptations or if both teams are like, hey, let's just roll back a similar draft and try again.
Yeah. Lightside losing game 1 here, had side selection, still elected to go for red side. They didn't think B1 was the problem here, they didn't think Rel was the biggest issue, that MRG got priority on that. They still choose to go for the R5 pick here. They want to have the counter pick for the solo laners or potentially jungle support, whatever they're cooking, we never know.
Yeah, I'm just ready. After the initial game with Lysandra support and Lulu coming through, I'm just ready for more cooking. And that is a Gwen ban. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that champion was banned last time.
It was not, it was Poppy.
And you kind of ban that champion when you're looking to pick something like an Ornn yourself to weak side.
Oh, or that.
And I guess they're doing a similar thing, but they're probably looking to weak side that Cassante right now. So far, the draft, I think, is identical to what we saw last time. I do think we had Aurelion Sol coming in here and Kai'Sa, I think, in 2-3. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was Kai'Sa for sure. What was it? Was it Aurelion? No, Aurelion was on 4. It was Aurelion Nunu on 4-5. So then the champion that's left has to be the top laner. What was it? The Cassante.
The Cassante, yeah.
It was Cassante
so
Kai'Sa.
They are pivoting away from the Kai'Sa into a Xayah right now. And I'm actually a bit curious as to why they're doing that. I mean, there is a lot of engage on the side of a Lightside, so maybe they're looking to make sure that Shaker is safe here while the Maokai ulti comes flying in, and while Cassante is trying to chase him down as well. So that definitely makes sense to me. And then we have Olaf locked in here, and I think Olaf, most likely going into the top role, has pretty good matchup into Cassante early game.
Yeah. I really like Kai'Sa here. Yeah, when you have Cassante and Maokai who will want to go all in. It's so nice to have an AD carry that can follow up and just completely dive into the backline of MRG here.
Yeah, so far the composition is just really well at diving. You're definitely correct there. And, Kai'Sa, fortunately for the side of Munster Rugby, does have the ability to kind of get away from the dive there. Nunu taken off the board.
Yeah.
Now, Nunu, as we talked about, it was used to great effect in the sense that they won the game by MRG. I don't think it was really the reason why they won, but it's probably just a champion they're not really used to dealing with. And it does make securing objectives a lot easier for MRG if they do have the Nunu available. So that might be why they're taking it off the board, so they have a bit more potential to contest the objectives.
Yeah, and if Lightside don't ban Rakan here on 4...
it's already out. I'm expecting Alistair ban
sorry.
actually for MRG here to deny the Lightside Alistair, but
yeah, I missed out. I thought because otherwise they're for sure gonna pick it here on R4.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that is going to be the Syndra ban here from Lightside. Of course, no mid laners picked here unless it's Cassante mid. You don't really know at this point. Although Butchie does have Ghost TP, which is a bit of a spoiler.
Let's see what this last ban is going to be. My eyes would be on another support like the Alistair being removed here, but you could of course also try and remove something like a mid laner. You talked about it, Cassante could be swapping into mid lane. I don't think it's quite likely. I think you'll probably have it in top lane. And there is Painful's Zed being removed this time, so even though he wasn't winning the game, he was putting in a lot of effort to really try and get things going, and he definitely did quite well. I think taking it off the board is to be expected. And there is Ivern.
Wait, it's Maokai. It could be Maokai top, Cassante mid, Ivern jungle, or it's Maokai support.
I think Maokai support is actually quite underrated because I think it's a stronger jungle champion because you have a lot more gold and you have a lot more room to move around the map and throw your saplings into bushes. But I still think as a support he offers a lot of value just because his ultimate, you don't need to deal damage with the ultimate. As long as you can CC people with that ultimate, it's great. And I quite like this as well, because I think Milio does very well when the enemy team is trying to dive into you, because you just cleanse the CC and kite away.
Yeah, I like the Azir hover there from MRG, but it maybe just going to be the Aurelion runback, which was not banned there. And it is
And there we go.
going to be Influentic piloting the Aurelion Sol once again.
Now, what does Lightside pick in response to this? They must have seen this coming, given the fact that he just went 17-08.
Yeah.
And I do think that is a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's the Yone lock in here for Painful, which means it's going to be Maokai support probably here.
Yeah, I reckon that is going to be Maokai support. And I do like this draft from Lightside a lot more, because now they have multiple things going for them. They have a good amount of backline access with the potential of the Yone and the Cassante to flank people. They have the Maokai ulti to squeeze people into a specific position where they want them to be. You have the Kai'Sa who can join the dive when the flank does happen. And you have a mixed damage profile now, where you have a magic damage champion in the side of the Maokai and the Ivern, but also you have the opportunity to itemize a bit more AP heavy on the Kai'Sa to make sure you're making up for the lack of AP you had last game.
Yeah, and would you believe it's going to be AP build here on the Kai'Sa?
I think in this game you probably want to go for the on-hit AP build. So the static into Nashor's into Rageblade build. And the reason I'm saying that is because you have a couple champions on the side of Munster Rugby who do not really have that much innate sustain unless they're building lifesteal. So if you can land a couple Ws into the backline, get a couple of those resets going, then getting the flank and pulling the trigger with the Maokai is going to be so much easier. And I don't think you need as much consistent DPS when you're only facing one really big tank.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Trying to get everything sorted here before we get into this one. Wow, Lightside down one game here. Of course, best of 5. We're not at serious point right now, but MRG finding themselves in an advantageous position here.
Hey, we all know that first game is just kind of about feeling each other out, being like, hey, I can draft this, you can draft that. We're just kind of like, slapping each other around a little bit and just kind of seeing what happens. Then game 2 comes around and teams like, okay, you know what, maybe I should start treating this game a bit more seriously. And slowly, we develop a bit of a meta right now. And I always like seeing that. So best of 5s, like, I much prefer casting a best of 5 over casting 5 individual games, just because the previous games just impact the subsequent games so much more.
Yeah. Although, did Lightside really feel it out after game 1 because they left Aurelion Sol open?
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure about. And now it's up to Lightside to prove that the victory that Munster Rugby got with the Aurelion Sol being the superstar.
Oh, wait, they're kicking. Oh, they went for an Ivern Q there. If it had hit Kai'Sa or Saya, everyone would be able to go over the wall.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty big brain. I actually didn't even think about that being a possibility, yeah. But I quite like that. There is an invade coming through as well. Do they fully commit, or is it just going to be a scouting award? They could try and put some vision down or try and really go for a big play. The early game for Munster Rugby is kind of all over the place because you have a really strong early game for the side of the Olaf. He's probably one of the strongest level 1 champions in the game with his Q being able to just, both be AoE and be reset. But then you have Aurelion Sol, who's barely even a champion level 1.
Yeah. Definitely want to scale here on the Aurelion. Maybe find the 9 or 10 early kills just like last game.
That'd be nice.
He would be in his pocket, so to say.
Yeah, so, I think it's just going to be, hey, can Lightside now punish the pick of the Aurelion Sol? Because, for people who are unaware, Yone is definitely a champion that spikes very hard, very early. He scales very well as well, but he definitely has a lot of impact when he has like one item on him. Well, Aurelion Sol, last game excluded, shouldn't be a very strong champion before like 20 minutes into the game. So if Lightside can unlock this Yone, get him like 1 or 2 kills, get him to roam around the map, before Aurelion Sol gets online, that's how they snowball this composition.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what Painful decides to build here on the Yone. There are a couple of different options you can go for when it comes to itemization. I personally like the Kraken Slayer into IE, but I don't know if it's optimal here in this lane, in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Yone, unfortunately. I don't play him myself that much, and I don't see him that much. But there is one thing that I want to talk about as we're, just watching these early, scraps going on. Did you happen to see the games that were played earlier today between Gen G and T1?
Oh, no, I did not.
there was a build that I had never seen before, and maybe it's appeared in like LPL or something, because I don't really watch that region too much. But there was a second item, Even Shroud, on Yone for Chovy. Yes.
Oh,
like his team
okay.
was in a good position. He was like, you know what? All I want to do right now is just land a big ultimate, land the CC, and be a more supportive, semi-tanky tool. And I quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a really cheap item. So, I mean, you can definitely get value from it.
Like, it's fairly stat efficient, and if you don't need to be the big carry, then I think it could be good. Now, I don't expect it to happen in this game, because you have a tanky top laner, you have a supportive support, and you have a supportive jungler, so there isn't really a lot of damage coming from the side of Lightside, and you definitely do need to get the damage from that mid laner. So I definitely, like you said, I do expect it to go something more like an IE build, you know, with a lot more crit and really just get the damage going. But I do want to keep an eye on what he itemizes, because it is one of those champions, kind of like Ezreal, who can do quite a lot of different things.
Yeah, I know there's some people who build the Gale Force, but then there is people like Druttut, very well-known Yone player, and he always goes crack in IE. Now, Nord looking for a gank, get bot into the case, gonna be in a lot of trouble using sister advance, but he's gonna get stand-ups, flashed out, but he's probably gonna get taken down regardless. First blood comes down for Shakur here. It's a nicely played out gank by MRG.
And once again, it is MRG with the early game lead, but this time it is an early game lead.
Here. Nice W is gonna get taken. Oh no, shield from Belio, and yeah, Rel survives.
Oh, that was beautiful. He just flashed to save his jungler. I love to see it. That was very, very well played.
First blood for MRG there. Yeah, I was saying. Druttut, very well-known Yone player, always goes for the Kraken IE. And I should also say, like a few weeks ago, actually Butchie going for potential all-in top lane. Oh, if the Q3 lands, Olaf might die there.
That would have at least been Flash Force, I'm pretty sure, if that did land. Fortunately for Olaf, it did not land. I do think, though, when level 6 comes through, that's when Olaf can probably win this matchup.
Lightside going forward.
Oh no!
Chaos super deep. As Shakur just flashes on the tower in case we just die here. They will find the 1-for-1.
And that is the big downside. You know, I have been spamming Maokai lately, and I definitely feel that one where you're like, I'm going for a play, guys. I'm gonna get this play going. And then the person flashes or dashes. You go into the turret, you're like, I'm a little bit too deep.
Yeah.
It feels quite bad.
Yeah,
so mid lane, you know, we're just kind of watching what happens here.
Nord could be in trouble.
We have to keep
painful with mid prio. But Milio... Oh, actually, Yone comes down here. Maokai at Twitter advance as well. Dr. Chaos with the roam up to kill MRG's jungler. The Q3 from Painful lands, and it should be enough for Painful to pick up his first kill of the game. Potentially, Chaos could look for Influentic as well, but no. I saw Maokai topside. I was like, yeah, Emp is going for his Raptors here. But then I really realized that's not Emp, that's Dr. Chaos.
So, very important to note here for Lightside is that they have a kill onto their two champions that need the kills. They have a kill onto the Kai'Sa and a kill onto the Yone. And if Yone can get going, you know, he has a 15 HCS lead.
Went for the cheeky all out there, but Olaf with the Ragnar was fine there.
Ooh, does he get the plate? He doesn't get the plate. There is ultimates coming through as well.
Goes from both top laners. Q lands from Olaf, flash forward, and that's a solo kill for Kaga. And Butchie doesn't have TP either. He's gonna miss out on so much here top lane.
Now, the only thing that I do want to talk about here is when you're playing something like the Olaf, or often with a Darius, you know, you're running Flash Ghost. Flash Ghost is extremely strong in lane because it does allow you to both escape ganks very efficiently, but also run down your opponent. Now, the problem comes in when the game does go later and there is teleport available on the other side, because every time you're going to be in a side lane without a teleport and the other team has the teleport, you always have to play respectful on the other side of the map, which can make it very difficult to go for aggressive plays, you know, on that other side of the map, just because there's always the looming threat of the teleport. Now, at this point of the game, that doesn't really matter yet, but it's definitely something I want to keep my eye on.
Yeah. It's the unfortunate, really, but still Butchie actually, even in farm here, Olaf a bit behind, but he has a way to pick up here. Of course, Olaf with the solo kill should be up a bit in gold here, top lane, up 300, which is about, well, the kill.
My eyes, though, are mainly for the next 10-15 minutes are going to be on, hey, can Can this Yone just explode? He's already up about 10 CS. He might have gotten one plate, I can't quite tell.
Bakuri is playing with so much confidence, even though Lightside are 3 people, still stepping up and dealing so much damage to Nikit on the Kaisa.
Yeah, I think it's one of those champions, you want to play aggressive, and he's feeling himself a little bit after last game, definitely looks like it. We do now see top priority being secured by Olaf, as we do expect.
Ooh, nice chunk there by Painful. Aurelion doesn't get a single trade back there as he goes down to half HP. Doesn't have teleport. Could be a potential dive by Lightside, but Aurelion has flash and, well, still deathless in this series.
So Dragon was secured, and I'm just hoping for Lightside, if they can get these dragons, that at least they get a good soul all in.
Flash shot to come down. Painful will find the solo kill mid lane. Meanwhile, bot lane to super low gets forced to flash out, but there's no flash from MRG. He's going to be able to survive here.
And that is exactly what we need Painful to do. We need this guy to be like, hey, you're picking the Aurelion soul into me. I'm gonna pick an AD mid lane in a strong early game. I'm gonna roll all over you, and this game is gonna be over before you even get to scale. That's what you're supposed to do into the Aurelion soul. And last time it didn't quite work because he was collecting kills all around the map. But this game, he seems to be doing the exact thing he needs to do.
And Butchie just missed cannon. It's a disaster.
Yep, that's GG, surrender.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but last split, every single time Butchie missed cannon, when you saw it on camera, I did 10 push-ups.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm totally up for a challenge like that. Like, yeah. I'll definitely join you.
It ended up being 100 push-ups at the end of the split.
Wait, but how did that work? So explain this to me. Like, did you do them in during the cast, during the break or something?
Yes.
All right. I need to be in on a challenge like this,
Yeah.
So I need you. We need to bring up a bit of a challenge here. That how many push-ups do we have to do for what? I need a challenge now. It's important. Do we do the casting minion or not the casting minion? That would be ridiculous. We do the cannon minion thing now. Is that a thing?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So does that mean we're at 10 now? Do we have to do 10 after this game?
Yes, we are at 10.
All right. Good. I'll join you in this one. I think it's important. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, he better not miss too many, because I haven't done push-ups in a while, and it's going to be rough.
Yeah, same.
Anyway, there's also still a game going on, so we do have both junglers hovering around the bot side. There could be a play coming through here. There is some vision available.
Maybe going forward. He missed the fake steal, I believe, but Aurelion Soul takes so much damage. He gets forced to flash. Painful doesn't have flash, but he still picks up yet another solo kill in the mid lane.
Man, that mini Z ult, it feels so good when you're playing Yone and you just pop up and you go back. It's great. Herald dropped in bot lane here. More gold going into the bot lane of Munster Rugby. They're becoming quite strong. They're 2-0 on the Kaiser. Kaiser looking to go forward.
Down to half HP. Does still have the Feather Storm. Flash available. Probably MRG will just back out there. But yeah, the Saya becoming a bit of a problem. 2-0 picked up 3 plates there, although the gold was shared a bit among MRG there. But yeah, Shakur definitely becoming a threat in this game.
And this is how you're supposed to have a Aurelion Soul game look. Your auto lanes might be doing well. This is why you often pick Aurelion Soul with pretty strong other early game champions, because he is going to suffer early game. He's not a good early game champion. It's just as simple as that. He scales extremely well, but he loses a lot of matchups, and the trick is losing those matchups gracefully and not running it down super hard. He's 0-2 right now. He's suffering a little bit, but he's definitely not in a situation where he's out of this game. But you kind of need your other lanes to really pick up the slack when you're still trying to make something happen while you're trying to scale. And we can see that Munster Rugby is doing that.
It's almost dead. Oh, he just died.
He is dead. There is 3 kills on the Zaya. There's a kill on the Olaf, and the Rel is just going to be, a very useful tool as an engage.
So could die here. 2 levels down on Butchie will just actually double you out. It's going to be okay.
You just want to move your strong pieces around the map, and I just can't speak here. Just engage all over the place.
Playing, what is he doing? Painful is so super strong. 3-0, now 4-0. Doesn't even have the ultimate, but still goes for the all-in. And yeah, Painful on a rampage.
Yeah, and now both teams are in a situation. MRG is like, okay, we need to move this Aurelion Soul into a lane where he can farm up safely.
Yeah, but
and meanwhile,
the all-out and MP's here as well. Lightside are gonna go for the dive. The Aurelion Soul ultimately comes down, but can Lightside still go for this? The Q lands from the Ivern, and Butchie goes forward. Very low though. It looks like he might not be able to do this. MP will have to tank the tower here. Q3 doesn't land from Butchie. Aurelion Soul will survive.
I don't know if I'm safe to speak right now. Every time I start a sentence, like a fight breaks out. So guys, fight! Right, I'm talking right now, so you have to fight. This is the rule.
And that
see, there we go. Dive coming in, potentially.
Yeah.
Risky dive though.
Yeah, tower's down to one plate, so they will just play it safe here. Maybe go for the dragon here with the priority that they have. Cloud Drake just spawn.
Oh no. So, someone in chat just said every time painful solo bolo 25 push-ups.
Oh,
that's like
another one. Immediately Kaga super low. Lash out by the Olaf Ghost as well. Maybe Lightside could go for this dragon, as of course Olaf cannot do anything here. Yes, MRG will just have to give this one up. Lightside will find themselves with 2 dragons. None for MRG.
Alright, Lightside is, you know, they're coming alive, and now the roles are kind of reversed. You know, we now have a very, very big lead. Painful, and Painful is in a very good spot right now. He has 4 kills, he has the Kraken Slayer, he's itemizing towards what looks to be, I think that might be a Gale Force, but I'm not 100% on that. And he's gonna, you know, he's gonna be the piece that Lightside wants to move around the map and try and make sure he can keep securing the wins in whatever lane he is in. Dragons are in. We do have a Hextech Soul coming through as well. It's a very powerful soul. And if they can secure it, that could be very big for Lightside.
The Ragnarok from Olaf. Butchie quite low here. MP's here will be able to shield Butchie up here. And Olaf, no ultimate now, could be in some trouble if the Q lands from Ivan. Well, it doesn't matter because Painful is here. Olaf is for sure dead. No summoners. Level 10 versus level 12 of Painful. And he's going to pick up his 5th kill of the game. But MRG are looking mid lane here, but they re-engage here. Nick is dealing a lot of damage on towards North, who gets forced to flash out there. Lightside 2 versus 3, standing their ground.
Now, I have been told that mid lane no longer really matters, and mid lane is all about, you know, being supportive. But these 2 games are proving me wrong. You know, we had 1708 Aurelion Soul, now we have 500 Yone. EU mids, man. EU mids are back.
It's true.
Now, I do want to see how they keep moving him around the map. Unfortunately for Lightside, of course, you know, there aren't always objectives to play for. You really want to try and break these turrets. We do have Herald. I can't recall exactly when Herald went down, but I think it was fairly recent. It's still in pocket, so I do want to see if they can, you know, really break open the game with that, because you want to try and get this Yona lead into the other lanes as well, especially because there is still the lead on the Xayah right now. You want to make sure you shut her down and get some gold into the Kai'Sa.
Yeah. With Xayah, of course, has pretty good wave clear, but can she really do anything when Kai'Sa goes static and just one-shots the wave?
Yeah, you just get to that point where Xayah like almost insta-clears the wave, and then Kai'Sa also insta-clears the wave. You're like, alright, now we chill.
The Alvi comes down, and he will be staying alive here. Nittit could be in trouble instead, but Chaos has flash, probably has to flash into the pit, but Painful is there. But meanwhile, we're looking top lane, because it's a brawl. Olaf versus Sante, all out, and the Ragnar gets popped here. Butchie getting super low, will probably get taken down. Who's gonna win it? It's gonna be 1-for-1 in top lane. Meanwhile, Nittit almost died, but of course, top lane way more important than a team fight. We all know this.
It's all about the top lane. So it's the island.
Has flashed, it didn't use it. Will use it now. Probably going to take it down regardless. Will indeed get taken down. Shakur, who finds his 4th kill of the game. Now on a rampage.
Yeah, so both sides kind of just have one champion who is extremely strong. For the side of Munster, it is the Xayah. For the side of Lightside, it is the Yone. And it's kind of going to be like, hey, can Yone find Xayah, or can Xayah kite away from the Yone? And that's always very interesting interactions. I think at this point of the game, I definitely do prefer the Yone, just because he spikes a lot harder on his 1 to 2 items. But as the game goes later, Xayah is going to be able to kite away very effectively, especially given the fact that he does have the Melio to peel him as well. Now, I do think for the side of Lightside, right now, you just want to make sure you keep getting those dragons. You want to get the soul as quick as possible, and you want to make sure this game is over before Aurelion Soul starts doing, well, space dragon things.
And if you're MRG this game, would you contest this dragon spawning in 1 minute, or would you give it?
It's hard. I think you want to contest it just because the Xayah is strong, but that does mean you're gonna have to bring your Olaf down as well.
We will find Emp here, flashless. Maokai ultimate comes down, and Reliant Sol as well. And Emp will get one shot, probably will be up in time for Dragon though, but MRG find a nice pick.
And now you might not have to bring your Olaf down, because now you get vision control, and now they're gonna have to walk into you, and it's a lot harder for Lightside to find a proper engage when you do not have the vision.
Oh my god.
We're going very aggressive.
Just killed.
Oh my god.
Hit it, and Dr. Gears is going to fall as well. The Feather Sword comes down, and the re-aggro here. Double kill for Shakur, who's doing really, really well on this Xayah.
You know, he was playing so well in the Xayah that all of a sudden, you know, my brain went into play-by-play mode, even though I don't do play-by-play.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? He's diving, he's going so deep, but he is now 6-0. Wait, is that 5 or 6? I can't read because of the resolution on the stream, but he's either 5-0-1 or 6-0-1, but he's really fed.
Yeah, he's 6-0-1 on the Xayah. 2.5 items. The Kraken Slayer and Navori quick plays have been completed just before the third dragon of the game spawn.
Yeah, and I think he's looking to grab a Bloodthirster next, just so that when Painful does dive in, he has the ability to face tank a little bit. And we do have the AP build coming in from the Kai'Sa, which...
so low.
The AP build from the Kai'Sa does mean that there needs to be some lifesteal on the champions of Munster Rugby, because otherwise, you know, you get hit by 1 or 2 Voice Seekers, and you're done. But is it Voice Seeker? The W? Or is that Rex
no,
IQ?
It is. Oh wait, it's no, it's Void Seeker, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think
right, Dragon
IQ is Pre-Seeker.
Ah, yes, that's it. So we have Dragon going to the team with the Dragon, and that is very thematically fitting.
Yeah, I think it's good from Lightside there. Painful ending up taking a big chunk from Shakur. Of course, Lightside don't really have any real rush to take Dragons. Of course, it would be nice to get Soul Point, but they don't have to force a fight, and they end up just giving it.
Yeah, I think, you know, once you get poked off like that and your main carry just doesn't have the ability to move up anymore, you just have to give it. I do think I do want Lightside to start being a little bit more proactive with their Yone. You know, you want to just get the vision, throw down the Maokai ulti, and get your Yone into the backline.
Painful going for an all in their bot lane, dealing so much damage onto Olaf, who has popped the Ragnarok. Painful will take another tower shot, but they will survive, dominating as he's now 6-0 on the Yone.
I guess Painful is just saying, hey, you know, my team, they might not engage for me, but I'll just find my own picks.
Has all out, gets him on towards Emp. This should for sure be a dead Space Dragon. No, well, the Maokai ultimate should come down, and it will be enough to secure the kill. Dr. Chaos gets him, and now they could look for the red as well. He gets knocked up 2 times, once by K'Sante and once by Daisy. But Emp is going to be the one in trouble. Gets taken down. MRG fighting back.
Yeah, this game is very close, and it's just it's a fight on 2 fronts. You know, you have Painful in the side lane trying to get pick up the pick. He does have teleport, but he doesn't really have that much HP. He needs to go base before he can really realistically TP in here, but
yeah, but
might not have to.
In here though. Could it be enough for Lightside? It's a 3v3 now. Rel is very low. I don't think they can go Baron. Butchie super low. Probably gonna get taken down here. Indeed will get taken down with the usage of the Magnet Storm there by MRG. And now Painful going to be in trouble versus the Olaf. Probably gonna get taken down. He actually has Flash, has Fate Seal. But this should be Baron for MRG. As Painful staying way too long here bot lane.
Oh no, Painful kind of overstayed. Now, he might get out of the fight with Olaf. He might actually get the kill as well. But the problem is, you know, he is older damage and he was not in a position where he could teleport away to the fight. So, Munster Rugby pick up the Baron. Yeah, the Olaf does have to die for it. But whatever, Baron is secured.
Yeah, Kaga just taking the L this game, going in, forcing Painful to stay so that he cannot join up with the team. Of course, Olaf still dies there, uses ultimate, Flash goes, trying to kill Painful in the 1v1, doesn't get the kill, but still it secures Baron for his team.
Now, the issue now for Lightside is they have one champion who's really strong, but then they have 2 other a couple other champions who are kind of behind their counterparts, and this means that they need to play around the Yone, but Yone can't do everything. You know, Yone can't just dive in there and kill everyone unless there is a big mispositioning from the side of Munster Rugby. So Zaya can just kind of kite away using the ultimate, using the peeling of the rel, and there shouldn't be a way in which Painful can reach the backline. So there needs to be vision control for the side of Lightside to be able to find their way onto the Zaya when she's out of position. And the vision just isn't there, and it's going to be really hard. They keep just swapping Painful into the side lane, and he keeps winning the 1v1s. But they keep not winning the team fight, and that's the problem.
Yeah, agreed. Now, I heard you said that Kai'Sa should probably go Rage Blade this game, but it's probably gonna be Ludens, I think, or Leandris in this one, no?
I don't know. I think you can go either Luden or Rage Blade. I think either is kind of alright. With Luden, you have the benefit where your poke deals more damage to the squishes that you're hitting. So you're kind of setting up your Yone a bit better. But I can also see a case being made for the Rage Blade. I mean, there is some magic pen on it, there's armor pen on it, and you just have more consistent DPS if you're diving onto stuff like the Olaf, if you have to try and, deal with him as he's running into you, which Ludens doesn't really offer you. So I guess it kind of depends what role they want Kai'Sa to play. If they just want to use Kai'Sa as purely a poking tool, then I guess a case could be made for Ludens, but I think I do prefer Rage Blade, just because then you have a secondary high damage uptime threat, and not just the Yone.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe Leandris is good here, since of course there's Olaf, Rel, and Aurelion, all quite high HP targets.
Yeah, I mean, I think Luden can be nice, but I don't know. I think you need like so much time for that to really start melting people down. Just getting like the initial splash of damage at the start of a team fight with Luden probably is better, but I still think I do prefer the actual uptime, the Rage Blade DPS. Well, I guess we'll see where the itemization does go for the side of the Kai'Sa. Second Drake here picked up by a Munster Rugby, and stacking 4 of those into a soul, that's pretty strong.
That's pretty strong, yeah. And it looks like it is actually going to be either Ludens or Leandris here for Nikit, who has picked up a lost chapter here. Now, I heard you speak about the Ludens a lot. I think Leandris is the angle here. Maybe you disagree with me.
I mean, I think both are alright. I think there are 3 options. I just see Ludens more often.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know the actual math between the options that well. So I can definitely see Leandris as well. You do have a lot more of that, annoying burn damage every time you do land one of those, Ws. So I can definitely see it work. I don't think there's a wrong option here, really, unless you're doing like, some super in-depth math.
Yeah, unless it's Everfrost. Oh, Painful going to go for Shakur, but he will be forced to back out. He takes so much damage, almost gets taken down, but he will survive here. Has the flash still if he needs it. But the Maokai ultimate comes down, and Painful will be okay just using the Fate Seal to get out there.
I wonder if Munster Rugby can now use this timer, because there are 2 ultimates down. The one for Yone and the one for the Maokai are down, so you could try and make something happen while those ultimates are not available. There isn't really anything to play for those, so you might not really want to, but if you just want to skirmish around a little bit and try and get some money, then you could definitely try and punish people.
See some fighting here top lane.
It's starting to become less and less relevant though, because these champions,
Nick is here. There is now help, but actually Kai'Sa diving in right into an Olaf. No, so much damage. Actually, never mind. Oh, that's so much damage in a short while. Here, Emp has been got out. Actually, it's Painful. Emp was able to get out for now. Has flash. Will use it indeed. But now Venezuela is doubling forward. Gets skewed by Ivern. Flash forward from north. Finds the land to Emp's face, who's still alive though, but he will eventually fall here.
The the Rylai slow just makes it so difficult for those melee champions to get away from the Aurelion Soul, especially when combined with a champion that can CC like Rel. There should be Inna being broken here, and this is the issue. Painful is very strong, but if Painful does end up dying, and he has to put himself into risky positions if he wants to play aggressively, because that's the way the champion plays. If he dies, so much of the team's gold from Lightside is just gone, that the fight should be easy to just roll over, especially given the fact that Zaya right now is sitting on 3.5 items and might go up and pick up a Lord Dominic's Regards, because he did just pick up the shutdown from Painful. And there we go. Lord Dominus Regards has been picked up.
And stop.
So even Cassante now is no longer super tanky.
Yeah, this Saya is so difficult to deal with. And Saya, when she's ahead, is just so annoying to deal with. I don't know, the champion just feels so broken when she's ahead.
Yeah, she can position very aggressively. She has the option to set up CC, and she has disengage ability. She does have a stopwatch as well, so when Yone does dive onto her, she has the ability to, both ultimate and get away with the stopwatch. And Baron should be gone.
Lightside used double TPs, but it was too late. And MRG just take Baron. Simple as that.
Yeah, and so far I'm seeing a bit of a trend, and I'm not sure it's a fair trend, but it's definitely something that I'm noticing, and it's that Munster Rugby seems to be able to play around their strengths, their Fed members
mid here.
better.
They are 5v3 right now, but Kaisa just get absolutely one-shot by the Saya. They cannot kill Shakur, which is free hitting in this fight. Actually, Painful gets onto her. She used the feathers from Can. Painful find the damage. She's full HP. Saya doesn't die at all. It's gonna be triple kill. And that's just game. Saya didn't even take damage.
For a second, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna need to stopwatch, and then maybe the rest of the team can be punished in the meantime." But she's like, "No, I don't care. I am like 12-0. I'm gonna just press auto attack, and I'm gonna blow people up immediately." Stopwatch wasn't even used; it's still available, and Munster Rugby right now is trying to put this to game points,
and they will do so. Shakur saving Flash here for next game. Doesn't need to use that even. 13-0 and 2 on the Saya. Absolutely dominating here in this game number 2.
So I'm just writing down the score real quick. So Zaya 13-0-2. So we have 17-08 and we have 13-02 for the 2 carry performances for the side of Munster Rugby. And I just have to give them credit. They get a lead in one of their carry roles and they play towards it. The other members are fine taking a backseat while one of the other members steps up. And first game it was mid lane, second game it was bot lane. I guess now we're looking for top lane carry.
Yeah, and well,
it was some Jax.
I mean, Kaga did find a Sulubulu in this game as well, so
true.
He pulled his weight.
To be fair, he definitely was playing very well. He got solo kills, he drew a lot of pressure up to the side lane. So I'm not saying he did not play well because, he definitely played a very good game. But, in the end, it's a bit more difficult, I think, to shine as bright as an AD carry who's just incredibly fed, just because your damage is just through the roof at some point. And I just think Munster Rugby played this game very well once again.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I think if Saya was literally any other AD carry, then Lightside would have probably been able to get onto it and try to kill that champion. But since it's Saya, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, multiple times, especially during the last team fight. You saw Yone positioning very aggressively and, ulting towards the Xayah. But then Xayah obviously just uses her own ultimate to counter the ultimate from Yone, manages to kite away, get some feathers down, get the root down. Because keep in mind, even if you get onto her after she's used her ultimate, because you're moving into her, the feathers will be behind the people who are diving on her. She presses her E, and with her item, she just one-shots whoever is squishy and is in front of her. So she has such a safe way of playing aggressive and kiting back when she needs to. And there was also still a stopwatch that wasn't even needed in the last team fight. So that's just how ridiculously strong she was.
Yeah. Lightside are going to have to figure out some answers here heading into game number 3, because MRG have won the first 2 games now at series point. How are Lightside gonna do it? I mean, we'll have to figure it out after the break. Don't go too far, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back with game number 3 in not too long. Okay, let's get it. Okay. Going live in like 5 seconds. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this best of 5 cast here. Lightside currently down 0-2 after, well, I wouldn't say bad games, but games where there was someone from MRG who just got a bit out of control.
Yeah, and we did talk about it a little bit in the previous game, but I do think that the Munster Rugby game plan so far has been get one champion really fed and then play around that very well. And I do think Lightside has had some very good early games as well. You know, they have gotten a lot of gold into, well, first game it was into the Kalista, second game it was going into the Yone, but they were not able to play around that champion as well as Munster Rugby was able to play around their Fed member, and I think that is the main issue. And what I want to see change, you know, I don't want to give any flack to Painful because I think he's had a pretty strong series. He's probably the most impressive member from Lightside in today's games. But having said that, I am not sure I really like the way they're playing around his melee champions. He's been playing the Yone and the Zed now, and those are kind of limiting their ability to team fight in the later stage of the game. So they could continue doing that, but I would kind of like to see them pivot away from that and more into something like a team fighting mage, like an Azir or a Corki, or, you know, something in that vein.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do so. Once again, Lightside has chosen red side, and maybe as you just heard, we are getting into champion select here. Game number 3. Lightside have to win 3 in a row.
Now, let's see if anything does change into draft. We do once again have the exact same bans coming through here. I don't expect too much change because I don't think it was a banning issue. I don't think the champions available, you know, were the issue. I think it's more of a, hey, one of these teams can actually team fight very well, the other team can't really, and that is what really broke open the game here. So I do want to see some adaptations from Lightside. They might just be like, hey, you know, this is our style, this is what we've practiced. We're gonna, you know, double down, triple down on this and hope we can just execute better. I think it is risky because it hasn't worked twice in a row now. And Rel is an adaptation, so no more first pick Rel, but that does rise the priority of the Maokai a lot.
One thing that's interesting with MRG is that every single game they have banned away the Rumble. And I've heard from people that apparently Rumble is very high priority in LEC, in higher leagues, as the first pick. And when you see a team on blue side over and over again banning a champion that should or could at least be a priority for B1, it tells me that they don't play that champion, and that is certainly a weakness for MRG.
I mean, I think you're right, but I also think it is that you often want to pair Rumble with something like a Maokai because you want some long-range CC to then layer the Equalizer on top of that. And I think if you're just picking Rumble on its own, you sometimes run into the issue where you give up so much for picking the Rumble that you rather just ban it. So I think that could be a reason for it. So maybe they don't play it, but I do think there is another option available there as well. And I do think, you know, first picking the Maokai here is the logical option. I think he is the best jungler on the patch, especially when Rel is off the board. There is still something like the Sejuani available right now, which does synergize very well with the melee champions that Painful has been playing, but we haven't seen it come out so far.
And how come Maokai is such a strong jungler on this patch?
Well, I think it is a combination of two different things. I think, first of all, his itemization, where you know, he does very well with the Demonic Embrace because he gets a lot of damage from it, but he also builds a lot of HP, which then further increases the damage it gives him. It's like he just loves all the stats on it. And then you also have the Mythic healing everyone around you when you do ulti. Besides that as well, he's just very strong as a team fighting tool. You know, you have the ability to... He's probably one of the strongest ultimates in the entire game. You just root everyone who is in your path. And even if you don't hit everyone, you're forcing people to move away from it. So I think his ultimate is just absolutely broken. And I think that's the reason why he is so strong right now. And there's just no real champion who can contest him early game that also scales as well into team fights. Now, Kalista is picked up again for Lightside, and I like seeing it. But I do want to see them get the lead again. But then make sure they can snowball around it much better than they did in game 1.
I feel like with the drafts they're playing into, they kind of have to snowball the Kalista, because in the later stages of the game, it's Kalista playing into Maokai Leona, which doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult, because you want to step up to hit your auto attacks because your range is quite short, and you have to hop into champions with a lot of CC. And that's already quite difficult. Now, you do see Zed being removed here. I wonder what Painful is looking to grab here, because once again, we're in a situation where there is no AP damage on the side of Lightside, and we do have 2 tanks who could itemize a lot of armor for Munster. So if they itemize into the... if Lightside goes for a melee AD mid lane again, that could be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, so another adaptation here by Lightside as they take away the Aurelion Soul. It will not be picked here 3 games in a row. Oh, okay. That's a
Fizz,
very
what?
specific ban.
I mean, to be fair, Fizz is like as close to an AD assassin mid laner as you can get that also has AP. I mean, it's it's like if you play Zed, you play Yone, you play Yasuo, you probably play Fizz to a decent extent as well. So maybe they're like looking to move the options for Painful to play a similar style champion but have a different damage profile. Like, I kind of like... Okay, I like that much better. Okay, thank you very much. I love the fact that they're now having an AP jungler here. This does open up the ability for Painful to still be playing some melee mid lane. I don't like it that much, but since Kalista is also a bit of a skirmish champion that needs to snowball early game, I wanted to be paired with something mid lane that can really facilitate the early snowball.
Are they actually looking Serath mid there?
Actually, I would be alright with that. I mean, there is hard engage for Lightside, but I think you can stay away quite far. Like, unless Nautilus gets to ulti you, you can kind of just sit back. Garen, I'm not expecting to be locked in, but yeah, we can see what top lane spice is being brought into this game.
But how disgusting is Influentic's champion pool? 2 games of Aurelion Soul and then Serath for game 3.
I mean, he's like, this other guy just playing melee assassins. I'm just gonna sit back, deal a lot of damage, and be very useful in team fights all the time.
Yeah.
And also have roaming potential, because Aurelion Soul has roaming potential with the W. The Xerath has roaming potential with the ultimate. So there's always a way he can influence the side lanes or skirmishes around the river without giving up too much, because he's quite fast to move away. And there is a very spicy top lane matchup. Yeah. We have Aatrox, who is one of the strongest champions on this patch right now, into a Camille, who has historically been a pretty good matchup into the Aatrox.
But this top lane pick threw me off completely. You were talking about Influentic, how he keeps having presence on the map. I was about to say, would you say he's being Influentic? But yeah, the Camille pick here, Lightside swapping it around, likely gonna be played the top laner. But actually, Camille mid would be such an interesting pick here into Serath.
Yeah, I think the problem would be that Camille mid gets pushed out because she itemizes mostly damage, while on Cassante, you kind of don't care about the poke. You just itemize magic resist early game because you're playing into AP jungler, AP mid, and you grab a Doran shield with second wind and bone plating. And you just kind of say, hey, I'm pushing this wave. I don't care if you poke me. I'm going to make sure you can't move out of this lane. And we're going to be fine. So, he doesn't solo carry the game usually because he doesn't really have that much kill pressure unless he gets a massive Q3 or something. But he does have the ability to just shove the wave, move out of the lane, and facilitate his other lanes.
Yeah. I mean, top lane is such an interesting one in this one. It feels like top lane can be really explosive. Either side could get ahead early on, and then it's really difficult to play the lane for the other part.
Yeah. The side of Lightside, though, they're running into a similar issue they were running into last game, where the Xayah, she serves a very similar role now. She can, play pretty aggressively into Lightside, but she also has the ability to, when they're trying to dive on her, she can kite away. Now, the one difference here is that Camille can press ultimate on her, and even though Kalista can save some time by jumping into the air with her Featherstorm and save herself for a while that way, at least she can't use it to leave the ultimate from the Camille. So there is more lockdown available, and after that is locked in, you can just pile onto her and destroy her. So I do like this adaptation where they now at least have a tool to lock this champion down and actually burst her out after the ultimate comes through.
Yeah. Let's see if Lightside can make it happen. Now down 0-2. They have to win 3 games in a row to take down Munster Rugby Gaming.
Can they reverse sweep? I guess we'll see in about 30 minutes if they can get the first win on the board.
Yeah, and Lightside know a thing or two about reverse sweeping, or at least getting reverse swept. As last spring in the finals, Lightside were up 2-0 versus Thunder. Well, didn't end up winning that series, so...
Oh, maybe. Really? I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't watching NLC yet back then. So they were in the finals and they lost to Thunder 3-2.
Yes.
Or 2-3, I guess, but they got reverse swept. That must feel so bad.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the mid laner of Lightside was the mid laner of Thunder. So actually Painful has reverse swept the team he's currently on.
I mean, I do think Painful is probably one of the most interesting mid laners from my knowledge of this league that we do have here. Just because he doesn't really play most of the meta champions, or he might play them, but he brings out a lot of his own flavor champions, which I do quite like. He reminds me a lot of... for some reason, I'm blanking on the name, but it's a mid laner in the LEC who's also very much known for his Zeds and his Yone and stuff. Yeah. And he's an Australis. So, yeah, for some reason, the name eludes me.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't say I watch LEC, so I can't help you there. I would say it's a pretty doomed region. Anyway.
Ooh, shots fired. Damn, feel him.
Yeah, no.
He was winning Worlds this year, don't worry.
Yeah.
Anyway, top lane should become a lot more spicy than it was in the previous games. Not to say that last game wasn't spicy, to be fair. But we do have Ignite right now on Camille, which it serves 2 purposes. First of all, it's just good for kill pressure in general. But second, I quite like it into Aatrox because Aatrox really relies on healing. And if you can cut that healing with the Ignites, your 1v1 potential just rises a lot.
Yeah, and with a champion like Camille, you usually want to take Ignite TP when you don't really need the flash to get onto the enemy champion, which isn't the case here when you're up against an Aatrox. If you're playing against something like a Cannon or a Gnar and a ranged top laner, it's more likely you will have to go flash. But oh, really nice hookshot there by Butch. He gets a nice trade top lane.
And you want to try and unlock the Camille here, as well as try and get the Kalista ahead. You want to try and play towards one of these lanes. I think it is more important generally to get the Kalista ahead, just because Kalista is one of those very feast or famine champions that if she falls behind, she's kind of like a casting minion. But if she's ahead, she can really just start running people down and really delete people, especially because she builds lifesteal and she can just kind of semi-face tank people if she's playing very aggressively. So I want to see what the junglers do in this game. We do right now see Lilia hovering towards top lane and Maokai being there as well. Both junglers are hitting level 4 right now. And we could have a fight on our hands in top lane in the 2v2.
Yeah, definitely not getting a good trade there. Flash forward from Aatrox. Meanwhile, the junglers are fighting as well. Aatrox has gone under the tower. I think Butchie might get first blood. Aatrox is super low and Emp will just get a free kill here. There's no way Aatrox survives and Emp will pick up first blood here in the top lane.
That is pretty big because Lilia is very much a champion that thrives on having tempo. And if she is ahead of the game, if she can call the plays.
Lord.
Ooh, nice dodge.
And will get out here as well. Actually, Emp taking a lot of damage, but still has control on the Lilia. Deals a lot of damage. Will just be able to back out there. Flash forward from Influentic. Will probably get another Q here. Flash
double
out
buffs.
from Maokai, and he will just live here. Painful is on the wrong side of the wall, but he goes for the flash. He doesn't hit the Q3 though, and he wins this one.
Well, if you keep auto attacking,
yeah, they have
you will have the red buff slows.
But the Q3 onto the Maokai. Painful. Can he get the damage? Yes, auto. Now he has blue buff. Can he 1v1 Seraph? No. Influentic once again with 2 early kills here.
Influentic just finds a way to always get ahead. That was so close because for a moment I was like, can he get the kill? But if he gets the 1 kill a bit earlier, you know, he gets the double buffs and he can start healing back up with the red buff, getting the slows. But unfortunately, it took so long to kill the Maokai.
No flash on the Nautilus now. Dr. Kios has roamed up mid lane. Is there enough damage? Painful will go forward, but they will not find the damage. The last tick will not
Ignite?
No.
Oh, that was so close to securing a kill. That would have been double buffs going over to Nautilus.
Leona. She has flash, probably has to use it to get over the wall. Will he hold on to it? And actually, Lightside not committing too hard here.
So I do like that they're playing very aggressively with the Lilia right now. They're sending their Nautilus to join up with the Lilia to try and make sure Snowball can continue. If you get ahead of the Maokai, it's quite difficult for Maokai to ever play into Lilia because it's a very well-known counter, because in a 1v1, you just kind of run around the Maokai and Maokai can never really do anything. The issue starts coming in when you do not get ahead and Maokai can just kind of be more useful in a utility sense. But so far, the Lilia has played very aggressively and quite successfully.
Yeah, Lightside are doing better in this one. I would say that it's completely even right now. They are finding some aggressive plays, but they have to find, well, a better trades top lane than that, because they need to win 3 games in a row here.
No, I like the ability. In this matchup, one of the reasons why I think it's such a good matchup in top lane for Camille is because she can jump out of the pool range,
yep,
but then jump back in after the pool has been destroyed. So she kind of wins the trade because she can completely nullify one of the abilities if there's a wall nearby.
Yeah, and when she gets the Hextech ultimatum... Oh, what?
Oh.
Not what? Ignite to stop the recall.
That was beautiful. You know, Hillesang will be proud. He just walks in there. He's like, hey, I have Ignite. You're not basing. Be mad about it.
Now with the top lane hitting level 6, I was about to say that Camille can dodge out on another, the Aatrox sweet spot. Preferably the Q3 with the Hextech ultimatum.
Yeah, it's definitely a very high skill matchup, and I do think this is the most fun type of top lane matchup to watch. And with Aatrox being quite well buffed in the recent patch, I was kind of thinking to myself, like the moment I read the patch notes, like, okay, so if he's buffed, that probably, you know, also gives us more like Camille and Fiora matchups. And I'm always there for it, because those are really fun to watch. You know, as much as I enjoy playing a tank, like kind of sitting back, being like, hey guys, I'm just chilling, you know, I'm on vacation. Having 2 bruisers to, you know, duelists, duking it out in top lane in pro play, it's just much more fun.
Yeah, this is what you like to see top lane. Skill matchups. NPCs here top lane to help Butchie push out the waiver. Nord on the Maokai was top, threw down a sapling, Butchie saw that sapling. But the new Maokai was top lane, but he recalled after that. He's nowhere near. Instead he's going for his bot side camps here.
Painful also tried to move up top lane to try and make something happen. Unfortunately for him, you know, Aatrox just moved away before
all in
anything
bot lane here. Ghost used by the Saya, who's super low here. Nick is starting forward. The Rend is not used. And cannot find the damage taken out. Oh, meanwhile, the Blade Caller dealing so much damage onto Dr. Chaos. Can Nitchit step forward and hit here? No, I don't think so. Nord, bit scary here. The Maokai coming in, and Dr. Chaos will be the one falling here.
And once again, we do have a kill going into the side of Shaker with the Xayah once again being in a leading position in the game. And we saw what damage he could do when he did get a lead in the last game. The lead isn't as big just yet, but keep in mind that Kalista is supposed to be the early game AD carry. She's supposed to get the snowball going. She's supposed to win the matchup, snowball the game, and get those dragons. When she does fall behind, she is very much less effective as a carrying tool.
Yeah, Lightside not really finding an advantage here in the bot lane. The advantage they have been looking for in not in any of the games. In game 1 they got some kills bot lane, but they also gave over a lot of kills to the Aurelion Sol in that game. And here, the first kill in bot lane goes into the hand of Shakur.
I do have to mention one more thing. You asked me during draft what makes Maokai so strong. And one thing I didn't touch upon, but it's definitely... Oh.
He could be in trouble here. The Zanta ultimate comes down, and the Leona should for sure be dead. He tries to go onto him, use the Ignite, but Painful will be the one securing the kill for Lightside.
So the thing that makes him so great... Oh, never mind. We just keep fighting.
Kicked into the tower, flashed up, but I don't think he's going to be able to survive. He has Q3, but I don't think it matters at all. Will stay alive for some time, but he gets shut down by Influenti, who's now 3-0 on the Serath.
Let me see if I'm safe to finish my point. Yes, it's the saplings. Just the ability to just, you know, keep throwing saplings everywhere. You're kind of ignoring the ward limit by putting living wards in different bushes, and they also deal damage. If people face check into them, especially if it's a squishy in the late game, they take like 40% of their HP and damage, especially when you're running first strike, which in this case he isn't. But it's just such a strong tool because you get so much information out of it when you do get the you know, the longer duration damage, you get more HP. and you could just put them in every single bush, and they're just really annoying to deal with, but you can never sneak up on people because you just have more vision.
Yeah, that's fair. That's really annoying to play against. I remember when it was first strike Maokai with Leandris and Demonic. That was, yeah, that was pretty crazy to play against. He just spammed E on the bushes around the objectives and it was unplayable. Now, maybe Lightside will go forward, but Blade Collar doing so much damage onto Nittit already. It's down to half HP. There's no way Lightside can fight that. But still, they are going for it. Dr. Chaos is super low. The Q lands on towards Sakur. Can they find him? They get the knowledge element as well. And the Kalista pullback means Lightside will be okay here. Both
I was a bit worried there when Dr. Chaos went back in. I kind of thought he trolled it for a moment, but then of course there is still the Kalista ultimate available to pull him back out.
Seraph ultimate. Okay, it's not enough.
Whoa, what's going on here? I think I just had a seizure or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was a pretty close bot lane fight.
He got the Scuttle Crab, I think. Seraph. Stole it away from him.
Now, Dragon is spawning. Vision control is for the side of Munster Rugby right now. There also is a reset for Lightside, so they cannot contest right now, but I don't think any team is really going to move for it. And this is the issue with the Cassante lane. Like, he is just so hard to shove out of lane. He can just kind of face tank everything. He can make sure the wave keeps pushing in, and Zeref just can't really be unleashed. Downside though is you don't really have that much kill pressure in a 1v1, so all you're doing is kind of neutralize the lane.
With the ultimatum, Aatrox uses his ultimate as well. Flash out by Kaga, Ignite ticking, and now TP coming down from Seraph here. Probably just to pick up the wave here. 20 to level 9.
Oh, waves everything, but still pushes them off the turret. Yeah. Nothing to be achieved there. There is TP available for Aatrox if he wants to use it, but I do think he'll just move into the mid lane. Never mind, he's using his TP into the mid lane. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of action, but not too much is acquired of it. A lot of ganks happening, but no kills coming through. I do want to see where the team
is going to be super deadly. Flashes out. Uses the Lilia sleep as well. Actually dodges Seraph. Q, can he survive? No, Seraph ultimate. Well, he's super fast. I think he can just sidestep this. Oh, the final one!
He gets it!
Oh no! Yep.
They get it, and they're also grabbing the Drake. Now, this is second Drake, so we'll be able to see which Rift we get in just a moment. I'm hoping for something like Infernal, you know, something spicy. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what the Rift transforms into. And there we go, the Inferno blazes. We get Infernal Soul, which is always fun, because that means that we'll have team fights, because teams will not want to give over the Infernal Dragons, much less the Infernal Soul.
Yeah. And I wonder if Emp has read the patch notes, because that was the... Oh, actually, Maokai comes down bot lane here. Dredge line from Dr. Chaos doesn't land, but there will be no dive here from MRG. Oh, actually painful. Can kidnap the Maokai. Nord has flash to get over the wall here. Probably has to use it as well. Staying alive for now, though. Dredge line lands on towards Moosey. Did not let on towards Saya, but she has the Feather Storm. Emp is here. There's no sleep from the Lilia. Nittit will go forward here. He can let ultimate forward, but it doesn't land because Shakur flashes out, and Lightside cannot find the play.
So much fighting, so little kills. Now, 4 people for the side of Munster Rugby, 4 people for the side of Lightside.
Sure, it's huge. The shutdown for Lightside, and Leona goes in as well. She's going to die. Lightside will go even further. Maokai is super low, has already blown his flash. Nittit will try to find it. The E from Lilia doesn't land, but Emp is running, but not swiftly enough.
This game is remarkably close. We're within 200 gold for both teams. And money is at least going into Kalista. Kalista just picked up a kill. Kalista should be able to finish up her Mythic right now, I do believe. And they need to start playing around her. We do also still have the Camille, who is going to become a big threat. The Divine Sundra has come through. And I do think in this matchup that Camille does outscale the 1v1 matchup. So side lane pressure should always be in the favor of Lightside. And that might make it more difficult for Munster Rugby to be playing around the side lanes.
Yeah, it's a scary one. Completely even right now. And top lane still just a complete fight brawl all the time here. Oh, as Witchy did super low there.
For a moment there, like if he didn't have the hook shot, he would have probably died to Q3. A lot of HP gone there. The healing from the Gore Drinker also helping him out a lot.
Oh, Aatrox going forward, in which he has the shield and will step forward. Yeah, probably won't go for the Hexy ultimate. He does not have teleport right now, so he can't really base. Otherwise, he will lose out on this entire minion wave. Lightside are moving members into the top side though, as the Rift Herald has respawned. The Butchie should be okay here.
Now, for one thing to note here is that Shaker is able to move first because he shoved the wave. This means that he'll be there for any ensuing fight. So, Munster Rugby could try and make a play happen right now. They have Maokai ulti available, they have Leona ulti available. And they could try and make a play happen here before there's a chance for Kalista to roam back. But Xayah decides to instead just make sure she can grab the wave and doesn't give over any opportunities to get some turret damage going to the Kalista. Now Kalista has the wave pushed, and now Kalista is moving up. So now it's up to Lightside. Can they make the play happen?
Yeah, and I think the Rift Herald is already gone there. But Lightside want to go for a fight after potentially Rift Herald goes down. But Emp will look for the sleep here. Can he find the passive on towards a few members here? He gets it on towards Maokai, and maybe they can't find Nord. They will use the Sleeping Lullaby, and he doesn't have flash. Maokai will for sure die here. Seraph Adam is coming down on towards Dr. Chaos. He will survive for now, taking down to an Ignite, but he will stay alive. Meanwhile, Musi, actually Dr. Chaos falls there, but Musi falls as well. The double kill for Emp as Inventic snipes the blue buff.
I mean, I think Munster Rugby won that. They got the Herald, they got the blue. Like, that's all you want, right?
And it's actually quite big here, because if Emp has mana, it could be different, but he doesn't have it. Gets shot down by Kaga, who secures his first kill of the game.
You know, slowly I'm learning these player names.
What? Butch is dead here. Did he not see that Serath was right there? He actually did quite a lot of damage on towards Implantic. Wait, I mean, there's no way Camille wins this.
No, there isn't. There should be a free kill, unless Camille just dodges literally every single ability.
Yeah, I think Butchie played that quite well. Survived for a long time, but there was no support arriving. Ended up just losing his life there, as somehow he didn't notice Serath was also coming top lane.
So, you know, I just realized a very hidden strat that I could have deployed for like a couple games now. So remember, during the break, I said to Basic, hey, you know, I'm casting on like a low quality stream. I can't read the names, but I realized I can just have the stream open, look there for the names, and then I have my my thing. That's why I've been saying champion names. But now that I've discovered the tech, see, I told you, you know, we're scaling. We're in game 3 right now. I'm discovering new tech. Yeah. And the Herald goes down. Mid turret will probably be broken here. Dragon spawning soon as well, and we're about to have a big brawl, I feel.
Yeah. Lightside will want to contest this one. Butchie currently running top lane, but he has teleport. If Lightside give this one over, it will mean Dragon Soul or point for MRG. They will go on towards Nitchit, using a lot here. Third ultimate getting used. Nitchit dodging out on a lot here. Another ultimate comes down. Nitchit, they're burning down to Leandris. He's probably going to die, I think. Leandris not. He's super low, but he's staying alive.
Oh, he does live, but that was very close. This does mean that that Nitchit is forced out of the fight, which does open up a third dragon for Munster Rugby. They're on soul point, and more importantly, they're on, you know, infernal soul point, which is very dangerous. You do not want to give over another infernal to them, because the damage when the poke lands from the Seraph is going to become ridiculous.
Why is Atrix stepping up top lane here? For sure, Lightside are diving this.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to pressure him to make sure that if there is a dive coming through, he can hopefully trade 1-for-1. Aatrox, when he does get one kill, of course, he does get the reset on his ultimate and he becomes very strong. So we do now have Musi in a bit of trouble potentially. Yeah,
Nitchit here as well. Painful not too far away. Shakur is on a different side of the map, so this will be a 5v4 for Lightside. He will find a tower first here. Musi is super low. Will get taken down. Butchie is also really low, but staying alive. Lightside finding 2 kills and a tower. Seraph and Maokai are right here. Butchie got a TP bot lane. Xayah will not get the tower, and Lightside can pressure the inner tower top lane. Likely they will not get a lot of damage onto it though.
Alright, I really do like that move from Lightside there. They realized that they couldn't contest the dragon, but they could contest the top lane. They got the turret first, then they killed the Aatrox, they killed the Leona. They were then able to force them off, push the wave in, and get a lot of gold onto their Camille. Now, Camille is being put in a position right now where she is very strong, has her second item coming in very soon, and should start slowly, you know, dominating that side lane. And that's going to create a bit of a pressure point where they can play around. There's also a teleport available, so they could try and send Camille into the team fight when the next Drake spawns and try and make something happen.
Why did he Maokai ulti? Oh, because Seraph can just... Okay. Yeah, he whips everything. It's 1, I think.
Yeah, like I actually really like Maokai when paired with some like long range damage, which is why I love it with Rumble, because you just layer the ultimates. I think Zeref serves a fairly similar purpose, where you can, quickly shoot all your shots when Marco ulti lands. But it's a bit more risky because you're stationary when it happens, and if you're near any enemy champions, you might die for it.
Oh, Red line here on towards Nord. Insta TP from the Zeroth. Lightside will look for a fight to Painful. He's diving in, but he's super low. Nice Leona ultimate, it's huge. Needs to force the flash out, but he will still be able to dish out damage. Painful got running super low, but he's staying alive here. Lightside are looking for the fight. Can they find the damage to take someone down? Nord is super low.
Shaker
comes down from the Saya. Flash forward from Influentic. Dr. Chaos falling. Emp as well. Nitchit likely going to have the same fate. Goes down as well. Just as Baron spawned, MRG will get this one as Lightside cannot find the teamfight victory.
Both carries from Munster Rugby, both Influentic and Shaker, just flashing forward, securing the kills, making sure they finish up the low health bars. They pick up the Baron now. This game was even for about 21 minutes, but it's just been blown wide open.
Yeah, it's super rough for Lightside. MRG picking up the Baron, and the soul point could be soul point, or could be soul for MRG. Dragon spotting in 2 minutes. They will be able to push with Baron, and then just when they're done pushing, maybe reset or maybe just back off to the Dragon here.
Yeah, I just want them at this point. I want them. I want Munster Rugby to push out mid lane, push out bot lane, put Vision in the jungle as you're pushing out, and then just make sure you keep both lanes shoved. And then the moment Dragon spawned, or when it's like about to spawn, you just move back, and then at that point Lightside has to push the waves out and move through Vision to get into you. And then they have to face check into Leona, Zeref, Maokai, like so many champions that are difficult to face check into. And you can use the Baron, not necessarily to break open the base, but just to make sure you get the easy path into the Dragon. Because I do think getting the Infernal Soul is just worth much more, because it's a permanent buff, as opposed to the temporary buff that the Baron's going to provide. But I want them to use it to set up the soul.
Yeah. And I want you to take a look at the inventory of Influentic. He heard you after game number 1. He has picked up the Medjai Soul Stealer here.
I do really like it on Zeref particularly. I really like it on champions that don't have to dive in deep, because you can pick up like assists here and there, and you're not in risk of dying. I don't like it on champions where it's like a Katarina or something. It can work really well, but you also you have to dive into the enemy team, and if you die once, you kind of mess up your item efficiency.
He's going to die here. Hookshot's way too late, gets pulled back in. Oh, that's so unnecessary for Butchie to die, and MRG can probably open up the base here.
So I said that I wanted them to not necessarily break the base with the Baron, but I wanted them to go back for the Dragon. Now, I guess they can just do both. They can just get a kill in a dive. They can get the inhibitor here. And getting this inhibitor really makes it so much harder.
Influentic reset. He doesn't have TP. Kaga has used ultimate, dealing so much damage on towards Dr. Chaos. Lord going super deep here. Amp, can he get a big sleep here? Will get it, but he's super low. Can someone dish out the damage? Nitted is here, so it's painful. Can Lightside find the damage? They find some damage onto Moosey, but that's just the support from MRG. Painful is going to go down here. Nitted is alive, so is Amp. Butchie just respawning, but MRG can probably just go back for Infernal Soul here.
Yeah, there's no need to greed for like a next turret or something, because the prize here is not necessarily a turret, it's the Dragon. You get this soul now, and every subsequent bit of damage now is going to be so much harder. It's going to be so much harder to deal with the Zeref poking you down constantly, and it's going to do wonders during the subsequent siege, because I just want them to reset right now, which is what they're doing. And then you just send your Aatrox into top lane, you send the rest of your squad into the mid lane, and you're just trying to siege people down, chip away at them. And if you do get them low, you activate the Zeref ulti, you try and just chunk them out, and you get one catch, you break open the base.
Yeah, it's rough for Lightside. They're down 3,500 gold. Infernal Soul. Baron spotting in 245, but it might be over by then. MRG are looking to sweep Lightside in the upper bracket semi-finals.
And I'm a little bit torn on what I want to happen here, because a part of me really wants Lightside to win this game just so I have more games to cast tonight, because I'm just selfish like that. But I also really would like Munster Rugby to just close this game out cleanly, because I will have much more confidence in them at least contesting Venomcrest heavily. Definitely. If they just cleanly 3-0 here. Then if we go to a game 5 because of them messing up, I still think Venomcrest should be the favorite in pretty much any match they go into. But I could at least, with the performance Monster Rugby has shown today, I could at least see them contesting a game and maybe taking a game off them. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can if they can keep this clean gameplay going, because so far today they've looked really, really dominant.
Yeah. Now the thing with the Seraph here is he does not have stopwatch, he doesn't have Sonya's right now, of course has the flash, but if Lightside can get onto him with the Camille, with the Kisante, maybe even the Lilia, it's not that difficult to kill the Seraph.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit of a sitting duck, although good thing for them is he isn't the only carry champion. There is still a lot of damage on some of the other members as well. So even if they dive everything on top of him, he has a flash to jump away, and the rest of the team will most likely be able to pump out enough damage where him dying won't cost them the game.
Yeah.
So as long as they stay together and they keep poking away, I think this game should be in their hands.
Yeah, I just have to note, like, what is going on with auto spectate? Sometimes you just start playing ping pong with the characters. I feel like it somehow it's gotten worse and worse with every patch, and now it's just sometimes I don't know, just goes completely boom.
I was actually wondering that as well. I was like, are you trying to like manually input something, and then the game is like, no.
Nope.
And then you're like fighting like you're fighting for control over the camera or something, but that is just completely automated. The whole wobbly feeling.
Yeah. It's a intended feature, as Riot would call it.
It's like when a game has screen shake, but it's like really horrible screen shake that just makes you nauseous. And they're like, yeah, but it's a feature.
Yeah.
Like, there's two things you always disable. Like when you go into a game, there's two things you disable. It's motion blur and screen shake.
I don't know if you remember when Riot did some changes to Galio's Q, and one Galio Q would do like 80% damage to someone, and they were like, yeah, it's not a bug, this is intended, and then it was hotfixed like 3 days later.
It was so busted. I think they made a mistake, like they added like a 0 somewhere or something, like it was absolutely busted.
Here, Amp forced to flash out. MRD can just go back towards the Baron here.
We've also, actually, maybe not the right time to point it out, but we didn't do the push-ups.
Oh, it's true.
We gotta do at least 10 because we saw the siege missing.
Yeah, Amp is struggling here. Nitted as well, taking so much damage from the Seraph as the Alchemist come down. Kaga will go on towards Dr. Chaos, who gets a nice dredge line out here. Butchie hook shots out as well. And maybe Kaga goes a bit deep here, but still has the ultimate, staying alive here with the Gore Drinker build. And MRG can just go back towards the Baron after that play. And if they get this Baron, which it definitely looks like they will, that should be the final nail in the coffin as they look to take down Lightside 3-0.
Yeah, and now they can do the exact same thing they just did in regards to the Infernal Soul, but now they can do it with the Elder about to spawn. They can shove out all the waves, they can potentially break the base. I mean, they're strong enough at this point to just poke them away and break the base. But if all else fails, if they can't break the base, or they get like a part of the base, but they can't really finish off the game, they just fall back to the Elder and secure that. Now, it's a bit riskier, of course, because there's always the steal potential coming through. But if you get like 1 or 2 more inhibitors going down here, there's no way they can even walk up to the Elder without having to, lose their entire base in the process.
Yeah, mid inhibit is going to fall, bot inhibit is open, top inhibitor about to be open as well, as there's a cannon minion just hitting the inhib tower. Lightside are just sitting ducks right now. They have to try to find something somewhere. Could it be this? They look for the Saya here. Lilia sleeps, gets the Saya, but she already cleanses. Dr. Kid is going to fall here. Shakur gets another kill here. Lightside are falling. Munster Gaming are doing it. Shakur might fall here, but is it going to be enough here? Painful tries to find it, and he actually doesn't even get it. The third element comes down, and Butchie is the final Lightside member to fall, as MRG have done it. The lower seed team takes down the higher seed team 3-0 and moves on to the upper bracket finals to face off against Venomcrest.
That was very well played. I have to give it to them. And can we just say, Shaker, this guy steps forward. He's like, I'm a cleanse that, I'll flash that, I'll ulti that. I just keep going forward, pumping, get the damage done, get the kills done. I'm quite impressed with his gameplay. I really like it when AD carries play on the edge like that, and they just, they know how to maximize their DPS. And I definitely do think Shaker Zaya has the ability to do that. So you mentioned it. This is a clean 3-0. I wasn't expecting to end today saying Munster Rugby just like 3-0 clean swept them, but they definitely look like the stronger team throughout all 3 games. And I am really looking forward to seeing the Venom Crest series now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Munster Rugby Gaming clearly have scaled. Lightside took them down 2-0 in the regular split. Munster Rugby Gaming definitely coming back stronger with a clean 3-0 against Lightside. Definitely, I mean, with the performance today, like you said, definitely looking like a team that can at least look to contest Venom Crest.
Yeah, and they're, I don't want to take anything away from Lightside, because I do think they're a strong team, and I could definitely see what they were trying to do. I just think the way they played with like the melee mid laners, like it's a style that can work, but it's a style that often gets outskilled very heavily. And you really need to get the snowball going early. And they definitely tried to do it, because they picked stuff like the Callista to really try to get the snowball going. And every time they tried to play around their strong side, like they tried to play around their Callista, they would trade like evenly, but they would never really like explode the game. If you can explode the game, if you can get Callista to have like a 2.5k gold lead at 10 minutes and like push them off the turret to get a couple plates, and like the enemy the carry kind of like out of the game, that's when the Callista really becomes a big menace. But when the other AD carry can just kind of sit back and match what the Callista is doing and scale up alongside her, you're not really playing Callista the way she needs to be played to be effective.
Yeah. All right, the series may be over, but the stream is not. We still have at least one interview to do. We will have someone from MRG joining us up in a few minutes, in a few moments. We will take a short break before that to sort everything out so it looks cool and nice on the stream. So do not go too far, ladies and gentlemen, because in just a few minutes we will have someone from MRG to speak to. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We are now sitting here with support from MRG Moosey. How are you doing after this 3-0 victory against Lightside?
Yeah, great. I'm happy. I didn't want to go like 5 games because I'm very hungry. I think everyone's hungry.
Me too.
I'm very happy to win, of course. Also, I think we are closer to playing like the upper bracket, like the going promotion to Div 1. I think I'm very happy. Also with the Bucci tier list. We did the opposite, of course.
So for people who don't know, and I was definitely one of them before you told me in the break, can you explain what the tier list is?
Yeah, Bucci made a tier list. He's a bit of fun player. Top laner of LLS. He's a very funny guy. He made a tier list with someone, I forgot who, but he predicted 3-1 against us. But we just we did the opposite. We showed them.
Yeah, even more than the opposite. You just like 3-0 kind of smacked them, honestly. Like it was fairly one-sided after the other game was over.
Yeah. I think it was a bit of an upset. I think most people predicted LLS to win with how we played the split as a Munster Rugby gaming. But I'm very happy with what we accomplished today. I'm very proud of the team.
I think you guys...
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to say I think you guys did play very well. I do think what often happened is the early game went fairly even, but then something happened that gave you guys control and you just never let go. Like you got the objective control down. You had compositions that often team fought a bit better, and there was just no way for them to really come back.
Yeah, I think LLS, they pick like strong bot lanes to stabilize. They don't really pick anything to win bot. And they just let the Ivers sit bot lane for like 5-6 minutes. It's crazy, and we managed to even win 2v3. It's yeah, but I feel like they just don't take their chances. They don't really try to push for a lead or anything. And I think we've shown this split as well that we are pretty good at holding a lead. And the comms in our team are like very good. We have playoffs Influentic. He's popping off on his Acel, on his Cassante.
Yeah, I have the score lines for your first 2 games. I have them written down. And initially, in the first game, if I can find the right page, we had 17:08 early in Seoul, and in the second game we had 13:02 Zaya. So there was definitely some popping off happening.
Yeah. Yeah, Shaker and Influentic, they are like crazy in the comps. They're playing so well, and they just know what they need to do. They play, yeah. My English is not the best, but I just want to say they play really well. I'm very happy that they're my teammates. Also Kaga, Nord, also very well played.
But I want to ask you. Oh, actually, finish your point.
Oh no, I have nothing.
Yeah, so this is not the first time you play against Lightside. You of course have played against them in the regular split. And in the regular split, Lightside won against you both BO1s. What would you say has changed since then?
I think Nord came back from vacation. Didn't have to play from a laptop in Greece. He's very vocal now, and he's been playing very well. And he also managed to... We are now able to flex the rel, and we were not able to flex the rel earlier, so we had to not play around it. It was very sad. I inflated myself to almost challenger with rel, but I couldn't play it in official. But now we can flex the rel, so it's a very dangerous pick because there's always a rel and Maokai open, and we can just choose either, and I think we get a very good draft.
Yeah, I definitely. I wanted to talk to you about draft a little bit as well, because I do think in all 3 games I did favor your draft, and I was kind of wondering what your thoughts were on the way Lightside was drafting, because we were kind of talking about it in during the cast as well. Like there's the kind of 2 things that I want to talk about here. One is you already touched upon it. They they're drafting dominant or supposedly dominant bot lanes, but then they're not able to really get their lead. And you were saying, as like, a little bit of like slight flame maybe almost, but you were saying like, they're drafting, strong bot lanes, in order to go equal, which is, I guess it makes sense. But at that point, I'd almost rather them just be like, hey, we fall behind a little bit, pick something late game, and just hope we scale to the point where we're relevant. Because the Kalista, it was played in 2 games, and I felt like it was never really hitting that point where Kalista, becomes a really big threat.
Yeah, but I see like a basic with a Lightside shirt. You wanna know our strats here for your next upcoming games?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I think Lightside. The drafting is. I think it's weird they pick red side like 3 times in a row. I think they can definitely pick blue side and just go for like the stronger picks, and not. I think their identity is just a bit weird in the draft because they want to pick a strong bot lane, but they also want like counter picks, and I think they're trying to do too much.
Yeah, and then they really also index very heavily into the AD melee mid lane picks, which I mean I guess Painful is very good at those champions, but they're quite difficult to make work, and we definitely saw that in multiple games where there just wasn't any range. Like you have a short range Kalista combined with a melee mid laner, and it's super hard to ever get into Azaya, for example.
Yeah, they draft very different identities in their 1 to 3. They're 1 to 3. They pick like Maokai Jace or something, and then Kalista or something, and then they go for some other weird picks that don't really fit well together, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely felt the same way.
Yeah, it was. We got very good drafts, but not really because we drafted that well. Well, I think we draft well, but I think it's mostly them making mistakes in draft.
Yeah, I think you kind of just drafted very. I mean, besides the first game, we had Lysandra support and Nunu. Like, that's definitely a bit of a weird one. But besides that, you guys just kind of drafted like, hey, these are strong champions. These team fight well, and we just kind of, chill and win team fights. So yeah, I think your drafting was just very straightforward, but it worked.
Yeah, we kind of have. We have an identity, and we know how to draft with our identity. I think maybe LLS has an identity crisis. I don't know what's happening in the team with their strong bot lane, but play for other roles.
I think basically kind of like dying on the inside right now.
I'm dying to ask a question actually. How do you feel about the matchup that you are going into? You will be playing against Venomcrest, who are undefeated 21-0 now. How do you think this current Munster Rugby gaming can match up against the undefeated monster that Venomcrest currently is?
I think we can maybe get 4 or 5 games in. I think it is possible to get a 5-game a series, but it will be hard. I've met Kanal and Olonski in the solo queue a lot, and they are playing pretty well already. So I'm not sure how it's gonna go. I think they're a very strong team. We've not faced that. We have only faced them twice, and I think on the last game we had a sub on mid, and the game felt very winnable. We were just trading objectives, but they got ahead or something, and then they kept their lead. But it was not really a convincing win that they had against us.
Yeah, I do think you guys have one benefit, I suppose, where today you definitely said it yourself as well. You feel like Lightside were the favorites. I mean, I think it's more like a 55-45 kind of favorites, not like 90-10. But you guys were definitely the underdog, and going into Venomcrest, unfortunately, we have to say you guys would also be the underdogs right there. But I guess it does help being underdogs because you have, you can kind of play a bit loose. And if you lose, you're like, well, we lost to Venomcrest. But if you win, you're like, we beat Venomcrest. So like, it's kind of like, you can't really lose in that sense. You can always just, keep playing even if you do lose.
But we're of course going for the win here.
Of course.
Of course. 3-0 Venomcrest. Munster Rugby Gaming.
I mean, I'm rooting for the underdog story here, so I'm on your side.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be a 5-game banger. And it will be fun to watch.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right, Musi, thank you so much for the interview. Is there someone on your team or maybe someone watching you would like to give a shout out?
I want to give a shout out to my team, of course. Thank you for carrying me, guys. I missed almost all Leonis, but I hit one. But
it was a big one.
I'm very happy with it. It was a big one on Callista, and but the rest all missed. But my team managed to carry it. We managed to stick to get a good lead and hold it.
It's about the ones you hit.
Yeah. But thank you for having me, and
yeah, thank you. We're gonna.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Have you?
And all my friends in the Ins Cafe Discord. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me in the chat. That was it.
All right.
See you later, guys.
Thank you, Musi. We will be heading into a short break, but soon we will be back with an interview with Lundqvist Lightside head coach, where we will ask about the questionable drafts, as we heard there by Musi. Don't go too far. We will be back.
Bye-bye.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back this time around with Lundqvist Lightside's head coach, Accept.
Hello.
What went wrong?
I mean,
Hard-hitting questions.
bro, you calm down, please, man. What went right? I don't know. But it's like, I mean, today is wasn't the day, right? I mean, obviously you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have off days, right? I mean, that's just how life works. League of Legends doesn't matter, right? And today just wasn't our day.
And we heard from Moose, he was questioning Lightside's draft quite a lot. Do you feel that there were issues with draft in this series, or was the issue elsewhere?
I mean, I can just run this through if you want to. Like, I think game 1, we came out thinking, well, we liked our draft from scrim results and everything. And we kind of felt like we knew what the issue was. And if we can improve on it from game 1 to game 2, then game should be fine. Obviously, we kind of understood that we probably can't do the Lissandra again. They will understand it's not mid lane this time around. So the same bait won't work. But coming into game 2, okay, we opted into the Maokai support. Maybe it didn't work out, and we weren't too happy with it afterwards. But game 3, like every game coming into the game, we felt pretty happy with our drafts, both from the coach side and the player side, right? And maybe that was the issue, maybe it wasn't, right? As long as we feel like we have a way to play the game and we have a way to win the game, then for me the draft is, at least acceptable, right? I mean, it's hard to make sure that the enemy doesn't have a way to win the game as well, right? That's obviously a hard winning draft, but that kind of requires the enemy to fuck up, right? I don't think MRG fucked up, and I think we had things to play for, and we just didn't succeed on them, and we know about that as well.
Yeah, and I do have to say, the Lissandra really threw us off as well. We were watching the draft and we were like, okay, so Lissandra's going mid lane. Wait, Lissandra could go top lane. Like, is she going support? Like, where is Lissandra going? And you definitely threw us off as well. And I'm assuming same thing happened to Munster Rugby. And unfortunately, it didn't work. I think you guys played through it quite well. You're using it to dive bot lane with the Kalista ultimate as well, like getting the CC, Kalista resetting the turret aggro, trying to secure the kills, getting the snowball going. 4-0 Kalista, I think, at some point of the game. But then unfortunately, and this is a trend, that we've seen throughout these games where you guys did get a bit of a lead, but then weren't able to really snowball the lead all too well. And we were kind of theory crafting, like, hey, why is it happening? And one of the things that we were talking about a little bit as well is the constant priority on AD melee mid laners who, they're very strong champions if you can get them to snowball, but it can be a bit difficult because of the lack of range and the lack of team fight presence. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, for me, it's not even about a lack of teamfight presence in a sense. I mean, I'm not gonna say I disagree. Like, I obviously agree that we get outscaled game 1 and 2. Like, that's just how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna win late game fights, right? That's just simple enough. But game 1 kind of highlighted this problem as well, right? Which is that, okay, sure, we got a lead, right? But we, after a while, you saw MRG bot lane. Okay, they understood that they couldn't win bot lane anymore, right? They kind of gave up on the lane. They sat on the turret. That's fine. But we really had to stop forcing plays around the lane, right? And just, okay, accept this, take the prior, right? Go take the rakes. And we kind of didn't do that, right? And flipped a lot of dives, which gave enemy a way back into the game again.
Yeah, and at some point, some space dragon just comes flying into your lane, collects a couple free kills, and you're like, oh no, we just accelerated the timer by 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for me, it's yes, we obviously get outscaled. But if we can get a fight in mid game, right, on 1 items, maybe even 2 items, right, that's where we're winning. We don't have to accelerate the laning phase, right? That's not realistic to me, right? If that's super realistic, then I think they blinded the wrong champions, right? Simple as. Go.
Yeah, and if we're looking at the second game in particular there, I do remember Painful on the Yone at some point. I think it was 5-0, got 3-4 solo kills in mid lane. And I was thinking okay, this guy is now in a position where he can truly snowball this game, get the objectives, make sure you get to a point where you've got so many buffs from the Soul and Baron and stuff so that, you kind of overcome the lack of late game scaling. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had a similar issue where, unfortunately, he was in the side lane. He was trying to get plays down. He was getting plays down, but then the rest of the team couldn't really convert his presence on the map into any objectives. So I definitely see what you're saying. You guys played around your win condition quite well and definitely got the early lead. But I think there were some unfortunate execution errors moving into the mid game, not getting the objectives properly.
Yeah, And I mean, it's like if we end up with 3 Drakes at 20 minutes, right, and 4th Drake coming up, okay, that's when we want the fight. That's what, like where we're power spiking, right? And in the mid game is where we have to accelerate, and we just didn't, right? Simple as.
Now I do have an interesting question here coming from a NLC Div 4 prodigy. How come you didn't take blue side a single time?
I mean, for me, like, I mean, coming into game 1, right, we felt like, okay, red side is better for us, flat out, right? And then coming into second game, we still felt like, okay, we're confident that drop wasn't the issue. And that we knew what our issues was, as I said. So we didn't see why we should change draft that highly. And then coming into the last game, once again, we didn't feel like, I mean, the draft was like a big issue. I mean, maybe it was like, okay, we felt like bot lane matchup maybe isn't what we wanted, right? But we felt like, okay, we could still change that on red side and still get the things we wanted, right? So that's why we picked red side, right? Not because we didn't feel like we had to switch anything up. I think we switched things up from game to game. And sure, maybe we should have picked a blue side game. I don't know. Simple as, right? But I don't think draft was like the main reason why we won or lost today, right? Because I think like red side, blue side, it doesn't matter, right? We win a game and the picks red side, that's fine. But still, we just have to play good and we win, right? And that's not much else to it, right? As long as we're somewhat happy with the draft.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's good to hear at least that you very clearly identified, hey, this is what we did, this is what went wrong, and this is what we need to work on for the next series. So I think even though a loss always hurts, it's at least nice to make sure you know for sure you're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, in the next series, Lightside will be playing up against Blue Whites. How do you feel going into that matchup?
I mean, I feel the same coming into every matchup. I think, even if it's MRG or if it's Venomcrest or if it's Blue Whites or if it's, I mean, I don't care, SK Telecom, right? Like for me, it's like we play good, we can win. Simple as, right? We don't play good, we can't win. You know. And today, I mean, we didn't play to our full potential, I think, and that's why we lost. You know, and if we play good versus Blue Whites, right, we deserve to make progression in playoffs. And if we don't play good, maybe we'll win anyways. It's not impossible, right? Or maybe if we play good, I mean, we'll play better. That's not impossible either, right? But you know, it's just let's play the best League of Legends we can. If that's enough, then that's enough. If it's not, then maybe we don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Sounds like the correct attitude.
All right. Accept. Obviously, unfortunate result here, but is there anyone you would like to give a special shout out to? Anyone watching? Maybe someone playing?
I mean, I'll give a shout out to Painful for that game too, because he completely smurfed it and deserved to win that game. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
he was popping off.
Yeah,
probably was.
The chat was trying to get us to do 25 push-ups per solo kill, and I was like, "Oh no, please, Painful, stop doing this." We haven't done push-ups yet, so I don't know how we do that, but.
Yeah, I mean, Basikas, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he was popping off a lot. Like, he was making me very scared.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right, Accept. We will let you leave. Thank you so much for the interview, and congratulations, rather good luck in your BO5 coming up against Blue Whites next week.
All right,
good luck.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Have a nice one, man. And I guess we go here. Yeah. Accept if you're
now
still
it's
here.
just us.
Dip. All right. EK. That will be it for the stream. And Munster Rugby Gaming taking down Lightside 3-0. Do you have any closing words on this stream?
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see how this playoff bracket continues, because we have very interesting things coming up. We have obviously we now have Munster Rugby playing against Venomcrest, which is going to be an uphill battle. But given the performance today, we heard Moosey saying it as well. We can see them maybe taking some games off of Venomcrest, trying to push them to their limit, and see if at least one team can push them, into a loss and get the momentum going. And you never know how a team responds. When they haven't lost in 21 games and they start losing, like they might just kind of like crumble. Sometimes it happens to teams. Let's hope it doesn't happen to Venomcrest, but it's a potential. And then we also have Blue Whites versus Lightside, and we heard the coaches now just say that he knows the issues. He thought they were winning draft, and I can definitely see where he's coming from. I think with the right execution, those drafts can work. I'm just really curious to see how they're going to adapt their gameplay and see if they can, make a resurgence through the lower brackets.
Yeah. Time will tell. Time will tell. Of course, this was only the second game out of 8, or second match rather, out of 8 total matches here in NLC Division 2 playoffs. A lot more action to come. This was it for me and EK. We will be signing out, but do make sure to take a look at the bracket because there are a lot more games coming up. I do believe we have the next game already tomorrow.
I think so. Yeah, I won't be casting it myself, but I'll be watching it most likely. And yeah, I'm just hoping to be back somewhere later in the playoffs because this was great. I need to be here for the later matches.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, we are going to sign out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic evening. Peace out.
Good night, guys.